A Beasley Media Group station live from the Comcast Business Studios. 97.5, The Fanatic. John Kincade, Andrew Salciunas. This is Kincade and Salciunas. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
So the Eagles won the Super Bowl. I just want to remind you. I feel like I should do that every single morning.
Is that why you call it Championship Week?
It is Championship Week. It is a Championship Thursday here on Kincade and Salciunas. Are these the new legends of Philadelphia? How do we balance legends who are going to be here for a long time still? Also, the outrage of Kelce Gate. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
This is Kincade and Salciunas.
Jams, baby. They dominated.
I never saw that coming. The way that defense made Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes look, that's legendary.
Is this real? Like, are we awake right now, or is this just some sort of dream?
Kincade and Salciunas. John Kincade, Andrew Salciunas.
97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
And a good Championship Thursday morning, Philadelphia. I'm Andrew Salciunas alongside my man John Kincade, who is rocking, if you're watching on YouTube, just a beautiful Kelly Green Old Eagle logo sweater. The big eagle on the front, man.
Girl gift.
It's a great gift, dude.
Girl's gift. I do not know. I know it came from Rally House.
It's your city, it's your house.
But I don't know the brand.
I don't know what that H is.
I don't know what that H means.
Hilton?
But it was a Hilton. I don't know what it is, but the girls got it. It was part of my.
It's beautiful.
It was
man.
either birthday or Christmas, and it's that same soft stuff.
And it's wild. Like, I walk in, I look at you, I say hi, but I didn't even notice it until we literally just sat down for the
soft.
show. It's a
So
great
it's awesome.
looking sweater, man.
Oh,
Everybody's
it's a
rocking
great
the
day.
Eagles gear all week long.
Tomorrow, though.
Tomorrow's a big day.
Tomorrow's the
Parade
big
day
day.
tomorrow.
Tomorrow's
Parade
the big day.
Can't
It's
wait.
so funny to hear, by the way, last night in the news. So Christina's home. I'm teaching my class. So she'll usually put on the Action News, Channel 6. And she said it was like the beginning of the news. There was like 11 minutes of parade coverage.
Yeah, man.
Construction of the stage. Preparations. Here's the person from SEPTA. Here's the way to go. Before they got to any of the other stuff going on in the world.
Yeah.
She said it's like the whole world has stopped for a glorious event tomorrow.
And make sure you get there early, Ricky Patalico. Make sure you get there early.
We're going to have to talk to Ricky about this today at some point.
It's going to be a packed city tomorrow.
Oh, my gosh. Tomorrow's going to be wild.
It's going to be wild. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And it's a beautiful wild.
Yeah, we're lucky to be getting in at 5 o'clock in the morning. That's going to help us out a little bit. All right,
I'm leaving early. I'm leaving way early.
Yeah, I don't blame
I'm
you.
not gonna risk anything tomorrow.
So the Eagles winning the Super Bowl automatically puts you in legendary status, right? Like,
sure. We've only had one Super Bowl winning team.
Right, so you are now a legend for life. But this is what's going to be interesting today, to try to figure out the balance. So Jalen Hurts is how old, John?
26.
Nick Sirianni is 43.
You realize you're 5 years older than Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, tell me about it.
I mean, seriously, like it's mind-boggling.
Yeah. Now he acts 20 years older than me.
And that's shocking because you do act like older than me.
I know.
So that shocks me.
So we have a 26-year-old franchise quarterback, a 43-year-old head coach who has had a ton of success in the NFL.
He absolutely has.
If you think back to the 2017-18 Philadelphia Eagles, the team that brought home the first Lombardi trophy in the history of the franchise, you had a backup quarterback.
Yep.
You had a head coach that I think we thought would stick around for a long time, but that kind of quickly faded away within the next 2 years.
37-year-old left tackle?
A lot of one-year prove-it deals.
Right. I mean, like there was a lot
of veterans.
Right.
A lot of guys who either retired or left because they got paid, or you knew they would stick around for another year or two, but
the clock was
like
ticking.
Jay Ajayi, Darren Sproles. He stuck around for a couple more years. These guys are legends. Nick Foles would never have to buy another beer in the city again. We know that.
He's beloved.
How do we balance that legendary status with guys that will be here for another 5, 6, 10 years?
You rewrite your legends. In my mind, you then have to start to, if you get a storied franchise or a storied football program,
right?
And I saw this a lot in the South. My partner that I worked with for years, 20-some years, he was the only quarterback at the time that had won won the national title at Georgia.
Okay.
But Matthew Stafford followed him.
Right.
Aaron Murray followed him. Other quarterbacks followed him that were in fantastic success. But he was the only one that had the ring.
Because he was the
And
first.
he was held in a status that people would literally be like, well, Buck wasn't as good as that guy or that guy. But Buck was the guy who got it done.
Right.
So you start to then, when you get guys with rings, then you have to start to sort of stack them to where they belong, because maybe a guy was a legend because of a year.
Right.
Or two. Or, in the case of Nick Foles, 4 weeks.
Right.
Whereas now you will actually have legends in a franchise that are more established for a career.
Right, and that's the
A
thing.
reputation.
Like Jalen Hurts is not done yet.
He's not done.
He's not
26.
He's not signing another contract with the Jags because he deserved it from winning the Super Bowl, and then you find out what he actually is. That was Nick Foles, right? He gets
Correct.
replaced by Gardner Minshew before his first season ended in Jacksonville.
Well, he got injured in his first game.
Right,
Remember?
and then they brought him back, and he wasn't all that good. And I love you, Nick Foles, but he ended up being back to the quarterback. The clock struck midnight on the career of Nick Foles once he got to Jacksonville.
It did.
Jalen Hurts is going to be here for, we hope, another 10 years.
There's a difference between, in my mind, when we knew we were going to talk about this today. I was thinking about it. I spent a lot of time in the car yesterday. And I'm thinking, there's a difference between legendary in a moment and legendary in a career.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Foles was legendary in a moment.
Yes.
He had a 2-week period, honestly, because he didn't play well in the Falcon game. He didn't play well at the end of the regular season. That Raiders game, one of the worst games I've ever seen a pro quarterback play, and they still won. But to me, he was legendary in a clutch moment, 2-week period where it made everybody's jaw drop.
Yeah.
But we're going to now talk about legends that will establish a career. A.J. Brown has 3 years now. Devontae Smith has 4 years now. Now, Saquon Barkley, again, is going to have to do more than just this year.
Absolutely.
He'll always be a legend, but you don't want to be a legend for a season.
Right.
You want to be a legend for a career. I think this team is going to create tons of them. Like Lane Johnson to me.
Well, he's already a legend.
No, Lane Johnson to me is sort of the cornerstone of legends in this franchise now because he's got 2 of them.
Well, and that's the other thing. So our question today, how do we balance legendary status with active players that will be here for multiple years moving forward, but also you're talking about cornerstones of legends.
Your greatest offensive lineman ever, period.
Could be your best quarterback ever as this continues. Some are already making the case that he is.
Well, I think that Jalen has a couple more years to just
solidify
have moments.
Yeah.
But I think it's almost over.
Oh,
that argument is almost over, and I'm a huge, like you and I both have similar, like who we align with. Donovan McNabb, in my mind, is still.
But he never got it done the way that Jalen Hurts got it done.
And he showed, and the big thing is, I don't know how many times I saw Donovan on comparable stages to Jalen show up small.
Right, whereas Jalen uplifts his game in these big moments. And so I think about the jerseys I wear. Now, I'm not a New Jersey buyer all that much.
Okay.
The last jersey I bought...
You live in New Jersey. You should be.
The last jersey I bought
buy everything over here and bring it across the border?
Was Harper.
Okay. I got that for Christmas.
On game days, I wear Doc. Yesterday, you saw me wear my Randall Cunningham jersey. I wasn't even around to watch him play, right? And so those are the legendary Eagles where I am wearing the name on my back, their name on my back. But they didn't win. These guys are winners. And you mentioned Lane Johnson is a 2-time Super Bowl champion.
I'm baffled by the Randall thing with you. By the way, I love it because I love Randall, and he's a really good dude.
Well, that was my dad's favorite player, so I grew up knowing about Randall.
But you never watched him.
No. I watched him more than Minnesota Vikings.
You never watched Randall Cunningham.
Eagles.
I mean, you're wearing guys now. To me, what do I have in the closet right now? I got Hurts, I got A.J. Brown, I got Devontae Smith, and I have Ertz is the throwback.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Like, are throwback jerseys, is it time to put them out the window when the current guys are the ones that are winning the whole thing?
The throwback jerseys are the 2017 Super Bowl champions now.
Yeah, the ones that won.
Now, we're not making rules here, but we are sort of saying There's going to be a new establishment of what makes you a legend in this franchise.
So how do we balance the legendary status with active players that will be here for years to come? Because we still have to hold them accountable if they have a bad game.
Sure.
But then again, they won a Super Bowl, and some of them have now won 2. 610-632-0975, the number to text and call in. Coming up next, speaking of legends, I was amazed yesterday by the reaction of Jason Kelce. There are some things I don't understand when it comes to outrage, but I'm working with someone that might be able to explain it to me, as well as a lot of Eagles fans. Hear what Jason Kelce had to say about the Super Bowl coming up next. We'll react to it here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Mike Missanelli, Bill Colarulo, and Ray Dunn. They have a lot to say about Philadelphia.
Thursday here on Kincade Salciunas, and tomorrow is parade day. So make sure you're listening all day today, or if you want to stop by and say hello, because we're on the road, Johnny and I and Connor.
Where are we?
We'll be at the Cambria Hotel, Philadelphia.
Cambria.
Did I not say it right this time?
So you do. It's like
Damn, I
you're in
didn't do
Cambria.
it. Cambria Hotel,
Yeah,
Philadelphia.
6-letter word. You can figure it out.
This isn't hard.
219 South Broad
7-letter.
Street.
My bad.
See, I got confused because I had to mention Connor's name because I didn't want him to cry like he did yesterday.
I didn't
had-
cry.
What?
Just we're all going to be there.
Connor will be there as well, as will the Mike Missanelli show at 10 o'clock. And then starting at 2, the best show ever will be live from Pagano's Market and Bar in Commerce Square on Market Street in
I'd
Center
say
City.
leave now for Pagano's.
Yeah,
Ricky Bo.
Trust me, Ricky. Been there, done that. I would suggest it. And Johnny, it's all being presented to us by Foreman Mills.
What? Foreman Mills?
Foreman
was pretty
Mills,
good.
man. Thank you.
That is
I
really
used to
good.
love their commercials.
That is a throwback.
I used to love their
That's
commercials.
a great
man.
throwback.
Foreman Mills.
Do you know how much money I dumped at Foreman Mills in my lifetime?
Dude, they were there for me when I was first working in radio, and
Right.
you're not pulling in the big paychecks.
I dumped a ton of cash in Foreman Mills. over
Foreman
the
Mills.
years.
I got
We
dress pants there when I needed to.
I used to hit Foreman Mills when we would come home and visit.
That's
We
awesome.
would take a trip up to Foreman Mills sometimes.
Love Foreman Mills. There's
Got
one of the
really
great,
good
the
stuff.
great Northeast. That's where I lived like 10 minutes from, or not even 5 minutes from the Foreman Mills up there.
That is
So,
awesome.
Thank you to them. Get all the information, 97.5,
Jim Harbaugh loved
97.5
Foreman Mills.
I know.
He really did. He'd get like 7 pairs.
The khakis, man.
He'd have them all.
Look cheap. Look,
Foreman Mills.
great deals.
Great deals.
Absolutely,
Like
man.
great deals. And I don't care how much money you make. It's worth not spending more than you have to.
Damn right, man.
Like, I don't understand that. Where people be like, yeah.
AJ Brown and I have a lot in common. We both drive Honda Civics, man.
Well, he's got one Honda Civic when the weather's bad. He's also got a gorgeous.
I know.
I've seen the other car. It's sweet.
Yeah.
It is. By the way, AJ
I don't have
Brown.
two
by the
cars
way,
of my own.
AJ Brown yesterday with visiting the
Beautiful, man.
young man in the hospital and bringing the Lombardi Trophy with him and everything. My God.
And he said he was going to do it.
By the way, after working out and doing with the training staff,
It's unbelievable.
He's
Well,
unbelievable.
he's a great guy.
he's really doing great for himself.
All right, so we're gonna play this, and then we'll have more time to react to it in the next
Sure.
segment. But I was honestly surprised, but we'll get into it.
Okay.
So Jason Kelce and his brother Travis obviously have the New Heights podcast together, and it was recorded. I guess.
Do you
2
listen
nights-
to New Heights, though?
No, I see the clip.
See, I listened to New Heights I'd say I probably listened 14, 15 times last year.
Okay.
You know, like I'll listen to it, and I will listen every week to some because it pops up on my podcast thing in the car.
I got
I'm
you.
in traffic or something. I'll put on, and I'll listen as long as I'm in the car, and then I won't go back to
Yeah,
it.
I let the clip makers
Okay.
do the work for me.
That's good.
I
And you-
watch the clips that
No,
are
and you
posted.
get some great content that way.
So yesterday, obviously, Jason Kelce 2 days ago put out the very long tweet
Oh, my God.
about how difficult the Super Bowl was for him. And so here he is able to actually speak on it. And here he is talking about his experience watching the Eagles win the Super Bowl against, of course, his brother Travis. Take a listen.
What was it like for you watching this one
Terrible. It sucks. I've always supported you.
every step of the way?
It was hard to navigate because obviously I'm trying to say that I have people on the Eagles that I love, and I also have you. And I tried to make it known that I was rooting for you. And it felt like I couldn't be right. Felt like no matter what I said, some people were going to skew it and say that I'm rooting for the Eagles. And some people were going to skew it and say that I was rooting for the Chiefs or Travis. And it sucked.
I think the people in the Philadelphia organization understand exactly who you are and what you represent and how you were saying it.
It was very, very hard to watch. And I know that, like, I don't know. I tried to correlate that I was rooting for both sides the whole time and that I was going to be happy and sad regardless.
It's a unique situation that nobody can relate to. Nobody can relate to this.
I just don't know how to articulate that I'm happy for some of the Eagles, but at the same time, I was miserable during the game watching you not achieve your success again. That's the reality of it. It sucked. And, like, it felt weird for me not to be cheering.
At one point during the clip, he got like choked up and
He
had
did
to
get
take a
choked up.
break
He did,
before
yeah.
he continued. So coming up next, we'll react to it more. There was a lot of outrage, and so
Well, I think you're skewing the argument. There are people who are outrage is way too high. There are a few that are
There are
outraged by
few,
it.
okay.
There are many people who are annoyed by it, and I'm one of them.
okay, And
Annoyed by it. You're not outraged by it.
And you'll be able to
you don't
explain
dislike
that to me.
Jason Kelce.
you'll be able to explain that to me
Correct.
coming up next, because there are some things where I go, yeah, all right. So we'll react to it coming up next. The Jason Kelce saga that took over social media yesterday. I will read you some of the outraged responses.
Yes, read
How
me
about
some
that?
of those.
Because there are people who are outraged. And quite frankly, I don't get it. But we'll explain more coming up next. It is Kincade Salciunas on this championship Thursday morning, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
No one can take it away. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Eagles are still champions of the football world. We're going to be saying that for a long, long time. ESPN's Adam Schefter joined Kincade Salciunas yesterday and talked about how no one can take away that accomplishment from them.
They're champions for the rest of their life. You never can take that away from them, ever. This was the most dominant team that the Eagles have had, easily. And it worked out really well for them, and they were impressive.
The most dominant team they've ever had. We'll have that conversation as we continue to break down everything in the coming weeks. But make sure whatever you do, you rest up tonight, Philly. Tomorrow's parade day. It's going to start at 11 a.m. from the sports complex, following the same route as the last time they won it all, and end with speeches at the Art Museum at around 2 p.m. Sixers fell to the Nets 196 last night. No Maxey or Embiid in this one. They're now off until the 20th as the NBA All-Star Game takes place this weekend. Sixers have no representatives. Kevin Negandhi of ESPN will join us coming up at 8:55. This update's brought to you by Helium Comedy Club, bringing Philly the best comics of today and tomorrow live every week. Tickets and lineup at heliumcomedy.com. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Bill Colarulo.
Once again, Jalen Hurts outplayed Patrick Mahomes.
6 on this championship Thursday here on 97.5 The Fanatic, Kincade and Salciunas. Again, first topic of the day. You can text in, call in 610-632-0975. How moving forward are we going to balance the new legends of Philadelphia? Because it's only the second Lombardi in franchise history. And, of course, those legends are Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Nick Sirianni, Cam Jurgens, Landon Dickerson. Lane Johnson I'm putting aside. I'm talking about the young players, DeJean, Mitchell, Carter, Smith, Davis. These guys are still going to be here for the next 5, if not more, years for the Philadelphia Eagles. And so if they have a bad game, how do we balance it? Because you know, John, after the Eagles won the Super Bowl, you yourself got a little soft. I feel
I did, and I absolutely. We will talk about it during the offseason.
Of course,
I have real concerns as to how soft I'm going to get now that I've seen a second.
See, I'll tell you right now, if the Eagles are 3-3 and are playing below the level of expectations, that
I won't be happy.
Right, and I won't be happy either. And I'm afraid that I'm going to get the. Chunas, come on, man. They just won the Super Bowl. And I don't care. I want more. Like, I want a second one.
The only thing I'd say to that is that I will have faith in this crew,
to turn things
in this group of people, that if they're 2-2, if they're 3-3, they'll get that they can still get it done.
Right.
Remember, last year, the Chiefs were 11-5, had the same record as the Eagles, and 11-6, same record as the Eagles, and won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I mean, when you get a pedigree, your level of doubt and your level of outrage over bumps in the road needs to be less.
Absolutely. You're spot on.
They need to they've earned grace.
So
they got to.
How do we balance that legendary status with active players that will be here for many years?
This topic.
I do too, and I'm fascinated to see what the people say about it at 610-632-0975. The other question, well, I guess is my question for you, is why some outrage and some annoyance over the Jason Kelce podcast. I will let you have the floor.
Well,
because I did not have any sort of reaction to it other than I understood where he was coming from.
Okay, I understand where he's coming from. He wants his brother to do well. We would all want our brother to do well.
Yes.
Totally get it. Last year, I'm a listener to New Heights. So I do, and I remember last year's conversation. And on the New Heights podcast, they brought up this exact situation.
It was March.
Was it really? I don't know when it was. I don't know when it was.
11 months ago.
But I remember it happening, and they literally had the exact conversation. Well, what happens if the Eagles play the Chiefs in the Super Bowl? I'm 100% rooting for the Eagles. I'm 100% rooting for the Eagles. It's the Eagles. I'm an Eagle. And I'll want you to do well, but I'm rooting for the Eagles. And then this drama ensues, which, by the way, Jason created this. Nobody else did. Nobody else created all this drama. His whole, I don't know. People got to understand that I'm really torn and all this kind of stuff. Stop it, dude. Look, we all understand. Everybody understands you love your brother. And everybody understands you should love your brother. And by the way, if you're one of the people out there and you're outraged at him liking his brother, you're an ass.
Yeah, so
I'm going to tell you, you're an ass.
A couple of tweets I have for you in terms of the outrage.
Right. Give me a couple of those.
Well, this first guy says, we won a Super Bowl and lost Jason Kelce at the same time. What a cold world. He then continues and said, the Eagles dominated and Jason Kelce was mad about it. Keep him on your Eagles Mount Rushmore if you want to. He's officially off mine. Can't believe what I just listened to.
Okay. Some of that I actually understand. Some of it I think's way over the top. Jason Kelce, there's nothing that will remove Jason Kelce from my brain, from my heart, for what he did for this franchise. But when you market yourself as Mr. Philly, you market yourself nationally as the spokesperson for this town. You literally called out the Sixers. I'm Mr. Philly, so I'm going to tell the Sixers organization they shouldn't be moving downtown. Let me tell you what you're doing to the fans of this town. When you make yourself the spokesperson for the fans in the town, you then, I would think, have a responsibility to at least play it down a bit. And to be like, I'm rooting for some of the guys on the Eagles. What the hell's that about? You either root for the Eagles or you don't. And every team that we've ever rooted for, there are guys on teams we've rooted for that I rooted for the 93 Phillies. I actually was in that locker room 40, 50 times.
Right.
They were some of the most despicable individuals that I've ever met at the time. Some of them have changed their lives around LA.
Some of them
They were some of the biggest a-holes I've ever known in all the time I've ever done this job.
Right.
I rooted for that team.
Oh.
Because I root for the team. I root
you're
for
a Phillies fan.
I root for the laundry. You're an Eagles fan or you're not. It's like it's not. It's and on the drama about this.
Well,
like,
okay,
let me give you my my manifesto.
We
like
know that he's an emotional person.
Oh my gosh!
I don't know why that bothers you so much.
Because it's not Chunas. It's not that important.
To you can't tell him what's important to Jason Kelce. That's completely unfair.
And
he can do whatever he wants.
It doesn't sound like he can, in your opinion,
Connor,
John.
I've told you. I've said it a million times. He could do whatever he wants. If he wants to root for his brother to win, that's great. But literally, don't do this. Oh my gosh, I'm so torn and I don't know what to do.
What are you talking about, dude?
I could imagine that he was torn, and I don't think it's just necessarily Eagles versus Chiefs.
So when he says stuff, does he mean it or does he say it for a podcast?
Look, here's my read on the situation. He was going to root for Travis. He was going to root for the Eagles. The Eagles boat raced that team, and his brother had probably one of the worst games of his career.
Terrible game. A horrendous game.
Like drop passes, wasn't
terrible.
getting open, and
awful.
of course the entire Chiefs team. I mean, that game was.
His brother did that.
We were ready to go to Broad Street at halftime. He, as the family member of the tight end, the star tight end, where all eyes are on him because of the Taylor Swift nonsense, he's watching. He has to stay there for the rest of the game and watch his brother just flounder out there. So I imagine when Devontae catches that touchdown, it's 31-0.
34.
34-0. We're going nuts, right? Because it's like, oh my God, they won the Super Bowl. He's watching it like, oh man, this game's not ending.
Because his family box was all depressed.
Yeah, his family.
His family box is all depressed. That's it then. Then you're not the Eagle guy though then. If you're saying it makes you it was disgusting, it was horrible to watch, I felt terrible watching the Eagles win. I felt terrible.
I think if it's 27-24, it's a totally different talking point. But the fact that the Eagles blew them out and Travis Kelce had one of the worst games of his career.
It was terrible.
And could be his last game.
It could be.
I would imagine they have talked about it more than what's publicly.
I think he was planning to walk off. I think he was planning to walk off a champion.
Jason knows the pain of walking off a loser.
Then again, it's very simple. If you're doing it, I totally understand it. If he said, I want to root for Travis in this Super Bowl as an Eagle great, I don't give a damn. Root for whoever you want to root for. But then don't do into this whole thing. Well, if you decide that your brand is Mr. Philly, I'm Mr. Philly, I'm going to tell the Sixers what they need to be doing because I'm Jason Kelce. I'm going to tell them. Then you better damn well at least don't get yourself into this conversation. Stay out of it. You talking created this.
Well, he can't stay out of it when he does the podcast with his brother, who's the tight end of the Kansas City Chiefs.
And on the podcast, he said exactly, I will be rooting for the Eagles 100%.
And you know why he probably said that a year ago? Again, 11 months ago?
Why?
He probably didn't think the Eagles were going to the Super Bowl this year.
Right, like it's a different situation when you're in it.
So you didn't mean it.
He knew that.
You didn't mean what you said.
He knew that team and what he left.
You didn't mean what you said. So in other words, you were just pandering.
No, John, he said something, and then months and months and
11 months later,
a situation that he didn't think, he said in the clip was harder than I ever thought it was going to be, made him feel a different way. That is okay.
And that's fine. His answer was the exact situation that happened. And his answer was, I'm rooting for the Eagles. I'm an Eagle.
Okay, well, so there was a guy that's a fan of college football, of Florida State, and he said if Florida State lost a certain game, he was going to eat doggy doo. And you know what happened? They lost that game. He didn't think that situation was going to happen. He had a different feel about saying that after. Like sometimes the situations you're placed in make you reevaluate things you've said in the past and change the way you feel.
It wasn't about reevaluating what he said in the past.
Why not?
It's not reevaluating what he said. So he said something that he didn't mean. He didn't mean it.
And then when the time came,
he changed. Look, and he's allowed to do that.
He felt what he truly felt when the time came.
His talking is what created all this. Everybody's reacting to him talking, his manifesto on Twitter. He creates it all. And you know what? This is exactly what they want.
The manifesto
they love the eyeballs.
that I read, and I said, okay, yeah, I can imagine that was hard for you.
Oh, my gosh, the drama. This is like the Real Housewives. For God's sake.
Now, to make it clear, because Connor, you're getting a little heated in there. John's not alone. I see it all over social media.
And more importantly, I don't care. Just say what you mean and mean what you say. Just don't pander to me. Just say what you mean.
Coming up next, we would love to hear from you on both of our topics today. How do you handle legendary status with guys that are going to be here still for a long time to come? And also the Jason Kelce situation. Does it bother you? Because there are some people. I'll read you one more tweet. This is from John, not John Kincade, or maybe it was.
No.
Time to boot this emotional turd out of Philly. Please don't show up to the parade. We don't want you there. And he tags him in it.
That's
it's Kincade and Salciunas. We'll react to it all day today here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Tyrone Johnson, Ricky Vitalico, and Silvana Kelleher. The best show ever. Smart, intelligent conversation.
Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Johnny Valentine already getting gifts.
I already got a gift last night, Connor.
That must be a love-filled marriage in there.
Yeah, when she's not one to kill me. I got she was afraid that I was going to pull the trigger on something at Rally House. And
Is that smart by her?
And she had already been. And so I mentioned something because I got a new car on Monday. And I'll always remember the day I got that car. And so I wanted to put a new license plate frame on around it. And I wanted the Super Bowl champions license plate frame. And she was afraid I was going to hit Rally House up before she had already got it.
Yeah, that's good work.
And it is great.
That's good work.
It's your city. It's your house.
It's Rally House, man.
Shut your mouth. Go to Rally House.
I love it.
You'll love it.
All right, so our topics today that we'll discuss with you. How do you balance Eagles legends that are still going to be here? Right,
Which is amazing.
The last Super Bowl was Nick Foles won. BDN, Foles. He's gone a year later, right? He was supposed to be the backup the following year. He starts the first couple games. Then obviously the double doink, which, by the way, he leaves it's not his fault that they lost that game. Alshon Jeffrey drops the pass. So Nick Foles goes down as a legend, then he's gone, right? These players are here.
Correct. And they're going to be here to write their chapters for a while.
So before we get more into this Jason Kelce thing, Connor, we haven't heard from you on this yet. How do you balance legends who are just 26 years old, younger, right? I mean, how old's Cooper DeJean turned 22.
22
right? He
the
turned
other night.
22 years old on Super Bowl Sunday. These guys are legends because we haven't had the thrill of winning as much as other teams, other franchises. And I'm not just talking football, right? Like, I'm talking about all sports. Like if you're a Yankees fan and some guy wins the 27th championship and sucks the next year, you probably go, let's get this guy out of here because I've seen 27 of these. We've seen 2 Eagles Super Bowls, and if you want to go over the last 20 years, we've seen 3 total championships. So it's not like we've had the hardware in this city. So how do we balance new legends that are going to be here for a long time?
All right, so for the next couple weeks, everybody who touched the field for this Philadelphia Eagles team is the greatest player in franchise history.
Yes.
They can never lose again, all of that. But when we start to actually evaluate where some of these guys' careers go, you just have to be careful with this one. You're going to want to say, like, could Jalen Carter be Aaron Donald? Could he be the next great defensive lineman in the history of the Philadelphia Eagles? What's the tandem of A.J. and Devontae going to look like? Is Jalen Hurts going to be this Hall of Fame, amazing, infallible quarterback because the NFC looks wide open? The tough thing when you cement legacy when they equal a previous team is you got to be careful not to paint yourself in a corner with how you portray these guys. And I'm not trying to take anything away from them, especially not now with the parade tomorrow. I'm just saying there's so much more to figure out if we're going to pretend like, and Ray Dunn had a great term on the Mike Missanelli show yesterday, Posidelphia instead of
I
Negadelphia.
love that.
I'm
pro Posidelphia.
And I don't want to use the Negadelphia mindset. But if we're going to pretend like this is just this guarantee that this team is going to be a dynasty and win forever, and there aren't going to be other bumps in the road, because there always are in sports, like there will be times that there will be setbacks where if we talk about them as like these all-time legends right now in the moment, we might be painting ourselves into a corner for the future evaluation.
Like I had somebody saying the other night on my timeline, Darius Slay, best corner in the history of the franchise.
Yeah, that was a bit much.
I said, no, he's not.
A bit much, yeah.
Eric Allen is the best corner in the history of the franchise, and I don't think it's close.
No.
And I watched both men play their entire careers as Eagles. It's not close to me. What the benefit has been is that Darius Slay's played on much better teams than Eric Allen played on. But as far as legend, Darius Slay's always going to be an Eagles legend in my mind.
And in my mind, too. But
because he played at a high level for teams that accomplished a lot.
But there are some people that still don't rock with him the way that we do. And so, I'm curious.
Why is it because of something about his podcast or something?
It is what it is. Some people just don't like people. But, I'm also, Johnny, to your point, people saying Darius Slay is better than Eric Allen, greatest franchise corner. I got to give a grace period to people to get all of their stuff out. Because right now we are in this euphoric championship week mindset where everybody's greater than anything we've ever seen before. And let's be real, this Eagles team was pretty clearly the best team they've ever fielded.
Yeah, and look,
I think it was clear.
Even nationally, Ryan Clark the other day was talking about Jalen Hurts and his trajectory to the Hall of Fame. And it's like, whoa.
That's what it's going to be for the next couple weeks.
Well, the thing is, Jalen Hurts could.
No, absolutely could. I'm just saying.
The way that they're set up right now.
Let's not throw that out there, though.
But if he's, it's a whole thing, but that's what I'm going to say, and I say it even to you, my partner. The dynasty crap. I'm like, no. They won one Super Bowl. A lot of teams win one Super Bowl. Go win another.
Yeah.
Go win another. And if you win 2 in a row, then we can talk about, wow, 3 Super Bowls in 4 years, a chance to three-peat. Then we can use that D word.
I'm not calling them a dynasty. I'm saying this
but
could
we shouldn't
be
be talking about dynasties. No.
If they win in the next season that they play, that starts in 7 months, then yes.
Then that's when you talk about dynasties. When they actually do it.
I'm not calling them one yet.
No, but the thing is, that's when we talk about dynasties. That's when we talk about that. Well, the Phillies, can they win back-to-back? Well, when they win this year and win the World Series this year, no. Let's see stuff happen, and then we'll talk about it.
I'm just saying they
at that
could.
Point. Enough
be
of the
dynasty
stuff.
They
see,
could.
That's craziness to me.
I like where your mind's at, kid, but you're a little early.
They could.
Well, you're just a little early.
You're a little premature.
Could be a dynasty.
So
and
that's not we're talking about what
and
could.
the Kansas City Chiefs could go back to the Super Bowl next year and win it again. Could.
It's unbelievable.
Let's go to Scott in West Philly. Scott, let's talk about the Jason Kelce situation.
Scotty.
What's up, Scott?
What's going on, fellas? What's going on? Before I get to Kelce, I want to touch on his legend thing. Hurts is one concussion from an MVP and a holding call from a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP. So his trajectory is definitely Hall of Fame potential.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
Trajectory,
sure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes, trajectory. Let's not call him a Hall of Famer yet. Don't get ahead of ourselves because that's where people start talking about dynasty and what did Vince Young say? All-Star team or whatever? No, we don't
the dream team.
The dream team. And the other thing, I want to be careful. Once we start throwing out Hall of Fame, and if let's say Hurts has a down year next year, so now we're going to start freaking out oh my God,
exactly.
He was supposed to be a Hall of Famer. Let's just slow down a little bit here.
Let's slow down. As far as Kelce's concerned, it's more to it than meets the eye because, like John, I watched the show he has. He was ecstatic. He was upset when they got Saquon. You ever know guys who say things and they're kidding, but they're not kidding? He wanted to come back. It's no secret. He was upset when they got Saquon because he knew it was going to happen. There's something to say about him watching everybody have fun. This team looked like they were having fun.
Now you brought that up from you brought that up from the show, Scott. I didn't take it as upset, but I take it that he was like, "Oh my gosh, now they got Saquon, and I've retired, and now they went and got Saquon." I felt it was almost like a buyer's remorse.
Buyer's remorse. He wanted to come back, and now he's acting like Kelce's dog died. He has 3 Super Bowls.
Right.
He'll be okay.
See, that's how I
think it was more about my brother lost, but they had fun. They won a Super Bowl.
I do believe, though, Scott, and thanks for the call, man. We appreciate it. I do wonder how much could this have been Travis's last game.
No, I think that could absolutely be. I think the whole thing, though, was there was on New Heights, when you listen to it, there was when they got Saquon.
Oh, I saw the clip.
He was very much like...
They had him on as a guest on the show.
Are you kidding me?
He was like, yeah, man.
Now we get Saquon? And it was. I took it as buyer's remorse. I didn't take it as he was angry, but it was like, sheesh.
Yeah, I wish I
could have been there.
Saquon
Right. I could have. If I had known they were getting Saquon, I would have stayed one more year.
Bro, I wish I could have blocked for Saquon Barkley.
Exactly.
And everybody does.
All right, coming up next, we'll reset today's topics. Also, what if I told you John Kincade and A.J. Brown have a lot in common? We'll discuss that next. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Best Eagles team ever? I'm Connor Thomas, and the Eagles, well, they're champions of the football world. We're going to be saying that for a long, long time. And ESPN's Adam Schefter joined Kincade and Salciunas yesterday, and he talked about how no one can take that accomplishment away from him, and also where this Eagles team may rank.
They're champions for the rest of their life. You never can take that away from them, ever. This was the most dominant team that the Eagles have had, easily, and it worked out really well for them, and they were impressive.
The most dominant team easily. We'll have plenty of time to have that debate, but make sure whatever you do, you rest up tonight, Philly, because tomorrow is parade day. Starts at 11 a.m. at the Sports Complex. It'll follow the same route as the last time that they won, and it'll end with speeches at the Art Museum around 2 p.m. Sixers fell to the Nets 196 in their last action before the All-Star break. They're now off until February 20th as the NBA All-Star Game takes place this weekend out in the Bay in San Fran. The Sixers have no representatives in the All-Star Game. Kevin Negandhi will join us at 8:55. This update is brought to you by Wendy's Breakfast. Freshen up your morning with Wendy's Breakfast like a breakfast baconator, ready for a fresh wake-up call. Got to be Wendy's, available at participating U.S. Wendy's. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic, and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Vacation? Business trip? Don't worry. You can still hear all your favorite Fanatic shows.
Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Make sure you're listening at 8:15 today for today's headlines with Connor Thomas, as I just tipped him off on a ridiculous story that we'll get to. It's sports related.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it's
Good.
mind-blowing numbers
Huh.
that a play-by-play man gave out on a broadcast, and I'll just leave it at that.
You're going to leave it at that's a good tease.
Yeah. All right.
A little wordy, but a good tease.
Speaking of tease, in a few minutes, we're going to talk about how A.J. Brown and John Kincade are a lot alike.
I think it's the 8-pack.
Yes.
I think that's what it is. But don't ogle me. Or ogle? Ogle.
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 You and A.J. Brown,
Me
man.
and AJ.
Similar work ethic.
The way it looks.
On the field.
Oh,
you know?
big
Actually,
time.
similar work ethic.
Similar work ethic.
You work hard.
I'm
You're at
maniacal.
your craft.
I'm maniacal.
It's just, you know,
Yes.
different styles of
Different
work.
styles.
That's all. We'll get into that coming up in a few minutes. But our topics today, how do you balance legends, who these Eagles are now? As of Sunday,
Oh, yeah.
they're legends.
Yep.
But this isn't like the last time they won, where a lot of guys were at the tail end of their careers. A lot of these guys are just getting started, just entering their prime.
The core on both sides of the ball is going to be here for a while.
Yeah. Like Jalen Carter only played his second year in the NFL. And
Gosh.
if you remember, right, let's go back to this past season. As dominant as he was, there were times where we were like, yo, dude, you got to stop with these personal foul penalties because you're starting to
He cleaned it up.
and he did. But what happens if he gets back to it next year? Are we going to say Jalen stop, or are we going to say,
Yes.
hey, he's a Super Bowl champion?
No, we're going to say Jalen stop.
So how do we balance the legendary status with guys that are active players and will be for many, many years to come here in Philadelphia? Also, the Jason Kelce situation. A lot of people are I think you're right where it's more so annoyed. There are some people that are angry.
Well, guess what? If you're angry, or if you are somebody who is saying Jason Kelce is like out of your Eagles pantheon of great players, you're an idiot.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, I don't know how to better say it. But if you are annoyed by all the, I mean, seriously, stop this drama.
It's just funny.
I
It
guess
doesn't, it doesn't bother me.
If you don't
a little
believe,
bit.
if you don't believe you're being baited into content, you're nuts.
I don't believe that I am.
I don't believe
Okay.
that
I
at all.
think he's having an emotional moment about his brother.
I got you. Yeah, I got it. I also believed when he said, "I'm an Eagle, 100%. I'm not rooting for the Chiefs."
He said that
over the
11 months
Eagles.
ago.
I'm not gonna root for them. I'm not gonna look. Is that you can believe? I think people say things for whatever intention and ever means that they want.
You know what?
Engagement.
11 months ago, I think you're correct about that.
Engagement for these two is big business.
I believe what he said 11 months ago was engagement. I think what he said this week was what he actually felt.
Nobody needed the manifesto. He created this.
He felt the need to post it.
He did, right. He created this whole thing. He didn't need to create any of it. He could have kept it and just gone on his personal feelings.
Yeah, but not everybody does that. I mean, look, we talk about it all the time. People need to get offline, and Jason Kelce might be one of those
You need
guys.
to put the Twitter fingers down. We don't need the manifesto of, well, here's how I'm feeling as I'm really torn on Super Bowl
felt the
Sunday.
need to do it. Maybe it was his way of coping. Everyone copes differently, Johnny.
Then don't be complaining about any of the reaction you get. If you feed the beast, you create it. Don't complain that there's fallout from it. I can't believe people are reacting like this. This is amazing. Because you took Super Bowl Sunday and made it about a manifesto of how torn you are.
No, he did it on,
I don't know what
he did
it
it
is.
on Tuesday.
Hey,
John.
come on.
It was
like,
Super Bowl Tuesday. It was
oh my
Championship
gosh.
Tuesday.
Oh, my gosh, stop.
I'm amazed by your reaction, but I know you're not alone. So I'd love to hear from people on it at 610-632-0975.
Have a beautiful life. Have a beautiful life, but we don't need all the drama.
You're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPN, HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group Station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. Let's go to Jackie in Mantua. Jackie wants to talk about the Jason Kelce situation. What's up, Jackie?
Hey, happy Championship Thursday.
How you doing,
I'm glad
Jackie?
It's catching on, Johnny. It's
I like
catching
Championship
on.
Week.
Yeah, so much joy still. That game, unbelievable.
Awesome.
Well, okay, so I believe Jason Kelce said within the past 2 weeks that he'd be rooting for Travis, but rooting for the Eagles. He's always an Eagle. They even had a thing about Kelce. His wife said the same thing, that the girls would be wearing Uncle Trav T-shirts, but they would be rooting for the Eagles.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm a little annoyed now. He seemed to change it up. I'm rooting for some of the
You could be
Eagles.
annoyed. It's not like anybody's outraged at Jason Kelce, Jackie. You still love him. You still love what
Right.
he's done. But you can be annoyed about this particular thing because he's created it.
Well, I don't think that's where I disagree, John, with you, because people were waiting for his reaction. You got to say that because he is, online all the time on the podcast.
Jackie, would Travis have been upset if he's put it out? Congratulations, Eagles, go Birds.
No, absolutely not.
Nobody
but
would
that's
like
what
his
I'm
brother
saying.
wouldn't have been.
That's
This
why I'm a
all
little
would have been
upset and
avoided.
surprised.
All would have been
Well,
avoided.
no, wasn't there a deleted tweet?
Yes, they deleted
There
it from
was.
New Heights.
Yeah.
I mean, they created this entire incident, and they love the attention. They love it.
I'm curious now, though, like, how they past Eagles are always on a float on the parade. What's going to happen then?
I hope he's invited, and I hope he's part of the Legends buffs.
Yeah,
Like with Donovan McNabb and all them and everything.
And thanks for the call, Jackie. We appreciate it.
I don't want him hijacking the event, though.
No, and I don't think
This is about the 2024 Eagles. This is about this has been a week where we're still talking about somebody who's not even a part of it. Let's make it about this year's team, and I hope that parade's going to be freaking awesome.
I do still because Jackie said I don't understand the change. I really do believe. And look, I have no knowledge of this. I haven't talked to Jason Kelce about it. If the Eagles won 27-24, it's not like this. The fact that it was a beatdown and Travis, he looked miserable, right? We loved it. We loved seeing Chris Jones fall to his knees when DeAndre Hopkins dropped the pass.
That may be one of my favorite parts of the whole thing.
Loved the bench shot of everybody with their head down. We loved the camera angle of Patrick Mahomes who had the curled lip, right? We love that stuff. When his brother sees it, he probably doesn't have the same. Screw you, Chris Jones.
Well, the thing is, you don't have to take it to that level. You don't. Nobody forces you to take it to that level.
Yeah, but so let me just talk personally about this for a second because I have a somewhat similar situation in my household with my brother. I have a brother who's 13 months younger than me that for his whole life has been a Minnesota Vikings fan. I sat next to him at the NFC Championship game in 2017 when they were as close as he's ever seen them get and watched them get destroyed. And it sucked to sit there and celebrate in the greatest game that I've seen the Eagles play to that point with him and my mom sitting next to me despondent.
Yeah, because once it's 31-7, you're almost like, I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, it's just it felt weird to celebrate. And
the
felt weird.
The other Vikings fan next to you, you're like, yeah, screw you.
Right.
But it's your brother and your mom.
And when I saw them, I ran into my brother when I left you, Andrew, on South and Broad.
Yeah, you did.
I ran into him, and it felt weird to see him with the Eagles as Super Bowl champions again because part of me wants that for him because he's my brother. It feels weird to celebrate in the presence of family that you're so close to, even though I'm a diehard 100% Eagles fan.
Right. Yet you absolutely love competing with your brother, right?
Yeah, I do.
And you love beating your brother more than anything, right?
Right.
Like, I mean,
but it's different if he was in the game and I wasn't. Like if he
no,
played.
but I mean, it's like I don't get it. I don't care who anybody else roots for. Like to me, it's
not even your brother, man.
No, I would. If my brother didn't root for the same teams, I would root like hell for his teams to lose.
I think that's easy to say when your brother is an Eagles fan, but as someone who's had his whole life with the closest person in my life to me rooting for an opposite team that the Eagles match up against,
I would never go to the game with them.
Yeah, it was my brother. He wanted.
No, but I wouldn't. No,
because
because then that ruins my experience because I can't enjoy it because I'm sitting next to somebody that I got to worry about. Am I offending them because I'm so joyous?
That's family, John. Sometimes you just got to sit through it for family, and that's part of the split household thing.
I'd go. I honestly, I would sit. I would have to either sit elsewhere or not go. I would not go to a Eagles-Cowboys game with a bunch of Cowboys fans.
Can I bring this up?
What's that?
Last week, when the guy calls in, he goes, "Yo, dude, I can't wait to watch the Super Bowl on my family vacation on the cruise," and you go, "That sounds horrible."
It sounds horrible.
And then you brought up Titanic.
Well, I said he should show Titanic to his kid before the trip.
No, you said don't show it.
No, I thought he was. No, I said did.
He said make your kids watch the movie about the boat crash.
That way they know that I'm trying to be a public service. So when that Disney boat starts to go down, they get on the. They know to go to the boats
You're a
first.
sick pup, John.
Yeah. They know to go to the boats first.
Absolutely.
If they hear people with violins on deck, they need to get off of the kiddie rides and get out of the kiddie pool. By the way, the saltwater pool, not a saltwater pool fan.
Nah, I'd rather have regular chlorine.
Not a saltwater pool. Connor, you saltwater pool fan?
I'll jump in any body of water. I don't care.
All right, so you and A.J. Brown, no, it's not the 8-pack.
It is the 8-pack.
Oh, it's just you have a
think it is.
6-pack. He has an 8-pack.
Okay, there you go. It's more like a case.
A.J. Brown puts out this post 2 days ago, and we read it yesterday. After a few days, I've had time to reflect on being a champion. I try to feel how everyone made it seem to be a champion, and unfortunately, it was short-lived. 2 days to be exact. I've never been a champion at the highest level before, but I thought my hard work would be justified by winning it all. It wasn't. My thrill for this game comes when I dominate. It's the hunt that does it for me. It's when the DB drops his head in surrender because he can't F with me. The intense battles, early mornings, late night sacrifices. I love putting smiles on people's faces. Don't get me wrong, but it just wasn't what I thought it would be. It's the journey that I love most. Back to work. John Kincade is also already looking ahead to 2025.
So AJ and I are.
You're doing a schedule breakdown.
I'm doing a breakdown of just what we can expect. And I'm going to tell you, Connor, you, Bill, Andrew, just be prepared for lack of sleep. I've got a lot of numbers for you that are going to, I got a lot to say.
So John's going to give us a little schedule breakdown
of just what to expect.
Yeah, what to expect, because obviously the schedule's not out yet. We just know the opponents. John will give that to us coming up next. And also, we'll hear from a player that the Eagles could face in week 1 of the what could have been championship game. Maybe. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
The Philadelphia 76ers.
Sixers win. Play that song.
already breaking down the 2025 NFL schedule. I'm trying to break down how I get to
tomorrow,
and you're breaking down the schedule already.
I'm already working on some of that too.
By the way, tomorrow we'll be broadcasting live from the Cambria Hotel, even though Radio Man is saying, what did Radio Man say, Connor? Our man Cutler?
Cambria.
He said Cambria.
Oh, gosh. It's Cambria. This is not hard. Cambria.
It's hard.
Cambria.
It's hard.
It's not
Just
Cambria
saying.
like the countertop.
Cambria Hotel, Philadelphia, 219 South Broad Street. You and I will be broadcasting live.
I am so looking forward to
6
this.
to 10 there. Mike Missanelli show 10 to 2. And then check out the best show ever live from Pagano's Market and Bar in Commerce Square on Market Street in Center City. All presented to us by Foreman Mills. Check it all out at 975thefanatic.com. I will tell you, there is a on the AC Expressway. You know how you can sponsor the highway?
Right.
Foreman Mills is the sponsor. And
so they clean up the highway?
Every time I drive by it, I scream it. And Christy has been tired of that joke for about 10 years now.
I got a few of those. Yeah.
Connor, real quick, give us a text before Johnny breaks down the schedule. Do we have anything on
It's for you guys. This is a public
Kelce
service
Gate?
love for you.
We have a lot of stuff on Kelce Gate.
Oh,
pretty
what do
much
we
all
got?
people have been checking in on. So we have a check-in from Ryan in Florida who says, I'll say this, and I don't care if it makes me a bad fan, but I'm sick of Kelce. Top 5 Eagle of all time, and love him to death. But too much of anything is a bad thing. Still working on separating what he meant to us as a player, person, with what he is now. Maybe it'll change.
Look, I'm not afraid to say there's a lot of Kelce and sometimes too much Kelce. I'm not afraid to say that. He's making his money. So
everything that they're doing is about making the money. It's about engagement. It's about eyeballs. It's about ears.
I do it too.
And guess what? No, I applaud them for it.
Yeah.
But just own it. Own it that that's what you're doing. Own it that that's what you're about.
You think this latest one was about
They made
that?
They made this entire Super Bowl about that storyline. They made it. They said, "What is our ownership of this storyline?" They found it, and it's worked. God bless it.
Yeah, it's worked for them.
But it's worked.
Why would they not talk about the Super Bowl from their perspective?
They didn't talk about the Super Bowl. They talked about something that was not Super Bowl.
Right, but why would this not be something that is foremost on their minds?
And it became a calculated long out drop. And I'll talk about it on the podcast, and then we'll have the podcast, and then that'll drop, and we'll have the eyeballs and the ears. Guess what? It's great marketing. I personally, when I heard you on the podcast, tell me what you felt in your heart of hearts, and you claimed you laid it out. Oh, I'd always root for the Eagles because I'm an Eagle. That's what I'm doing. If we played the Chiefs, I would root for the Eagles because I'm an Eagle. That's who I am. And then something totally different happens. I either go, I'm being played the first time, or I'm being played the second time.
I think someone changed their mind.
Yeah, and the emotion got to him.
The emotion got.
That's how I took it.
You don't have to have any of this. All you could do is just say, Travis Kelce would not have a problem if Jason put out, "Go Birds! Congratulations, Philly! Party on!"
Right, but Jason
And that would
might
be
feel
nobody
weird
would.
about
Jason
it.
might feel
Nobody
weird
would,
about it.
but Travis wouldn't have a problem with it. He'd understand because Travis even says on the old New Heights when you go back and listen, I totally understand. I know what Philly means to you. I know it's your home. I know it's your organization. I know what it means to you. He wouldn't have had any issue with it, and none of this drama ensues that was self-created. It was created. It wasn't created by the fan base. It wasn't created by people on Twitter. It was created by them. They created it.
Okay. All right. Well,
You got a busy year ahead.
yeah, please break this down for
All
us.
right, I'm giving you, Connor, you don't need as big a warning. Bill Colarulo and Andrew do. Okay? This is just all I'm saying. 2025 Birds, if history is an indicator, are going to have a ton of primetime activity. So, nighttime activity is going to be a big thing. 4:30 games when they're even on Fox is going to be a big thing.
Yeah.
So your Sundays are changing doing the pregame show.
I loved our 1 o'clock starts this year.
What
man.
I'm going to tell you is that there's a
shows.
big worry for you and Bill Colarulo. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
Yeah.
Because Kansas City Chiefs, since they've started to play on Christmas, this will be the third Christmas coming up. Both times the world champions have been playing on Christmas. 2 years ago, they played at home. Last year, they played at Pittsburgh. And they played at like 1 o'clock this year on Christmas Day.
Dear Scott Masteller, CC'd is my wife, Christy.
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to. I mean, it's Christmas Day The Super Bowl champs 2 years in a row have played on Christmas.
Salciunas, you're putting family over the birds? What are you, Jason
Last
Kelce?
year.
Yeah, exactly.
Last year, Black Friday game,
Well, that's nothing.
which I think is a great idea.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I love that.
The Chiefs played Black
I worked Black Friday.
The Chiefs played Black Friday. We could actually have a show that morning and then pregame show later.
No, I didn't work Black
You
Friday.
did work. I did.
worked
You worked
Thanksgiving
Thanksgiving.
morning because who's doing Thanksgiving at 6 o'clock in the morning?
You worked Thanksgiving.
You did
I worked Black Friday.
That's right.
2 Monday night games and the opening Thursday night game, which, by the way, was their Thursday night game. So you get your Thursday night game out of the way.
Well, that's cool. I'm in favor
That
of
is a good thing.
Yeah.
So the Chiefs didn't have that. The year before, they had opening night versus Detroit. They played 2 Monday night games. They played a few Sunday night games, and they played Christmas game versus Las Vegas. The Eagles played in the 2022 Super Bowl, and then the next year, they played on Christmas also.
Right.
The Chiefs and the Eagles. So, guys, you and Bill got to start thinking.
Dear Scott Masteller.
Christmas Day.
CC'd is my wife, Christy.
Christmas Day, the Eagles will be playing on Christmas this year.
Yep. Oh.
I think you can pretty much bank on it. And if they played Black Friday game, that'd be freaking awesome. I think that's a great.
I'm in favor of that.
I love that. The idea of a Black Friday game would be
that's
awesome.
just another day of the week.
That's a spectacle. That's like a spectacle game. But the more weekends they get off, too, I like, where they don't have the Monday game, too. So I think that'd be
that's
cool.
true. Now, there is a chance that they could be playing the Lions in week 1.
I think they will.
So Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's got a podcast. It's actually pretty entertaining.
Does everybody have a podcast?
Yes, but Amon-Ra actually does a pretty good job with it. I just hate some of the questions that he asks. But anyways, here was Amon-Ra St. Brown in his podcast talking about what could be the week 1 matchup of the could-have-been championship game.
Eagles have the home opener next year. Like, if you're the NFL, who you putting in there?
Lions or Commanders.
That's what I'm saying. So we might be playing week
No-brainer.
1.
Did you think
at Lincoln Financial Field?
And you could really see what would happen in the NFC Championship. Not really, but like
Yeah, with a healthy defense.
your team wasn't healthy. That's the thing. It's part of the game. Like you need.
But I'm saying, you would see what our healthy defense
I mean, how
operates.
many injuries?
So
Oh, my gosh.
it almost sounds 49er-ish.
No, it does.
We got a
even
new
wor-
Debo.
But even worse because they didn't play each other.
They didn't even win a playoff game. I mean, at least the 49ers lost the NFC Championship
Right.
game and were chesty and lost their quarterback in the
Fanatic Sports Update.
Still champs. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Eagles are still champions of the football world. We're going to be saying that for a long, long time here in Philadelphia. And ESPN's Adam Schefter joined Kincade Salciunas yesterday and talked about how no one can take that accomplishment away from them. Not just this year, but ever.
They're champions for the rest of their life. You never can take that away from them, ever. This was the most dominant team that the Eagles have had, easily. And it worked out really well for them, and they were impressive.
We're going to hear plenty of promotion of how great this Birds team was in the coming months, but make sure whatever you do tonight, Philadelphia, you rest up. We are on the eve of Parade Day. It'll start tomorrow at 11 a.m. They're following the same route as 2018, and it will end with the speeches at the Art Museum at around 2 p.m. Sixers fell to the Nets 196 in their final game before the All-Star break. No Max here Embiid in this one. They're off until the 20th with the All-Star game taking place this weekend. Sixers have no representatives this year. Kevin Negandhi will join us coming up at 8:55. This update is brought to you by Bradford White Water Heaters. When you need a new water heater, choose one that's built to be the best. Choose Bradford White. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Not only can you listen to The Fanatic, but you can also watch on 97.5.
picks on this championship Thursday. Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Coming up in an hour, so 1 hour from now, very excited for this. NFL Films finally started to drop some of the mic'd up moments from Super Bowl 59.
I can't wait to I've seen a couple of the highlights. I can't wait to watch that special.
So we will we'll play some of the audio for you. But, yeah, that's going to be something fun to sit down and watch. I remember when the Eagles won Super Bowl 52, and it was the post-parade special. I brought up the Brandon Graham quote with you and Amy earlier this week about how that's when he realized how much the Eagles meant to Philadelphia. When he was walking along the parade route, because he wasn't on the bus the entire time, he hugged a fan that started crying, and the guy said, "You have no idea who I am, but you changed my life." And that was the moment that BG was like, wow, all right, so it means something here. And he'd been on the team for, 8 years at that point already? So,
and the first 3, he faced a lot of heat.
Yes, he did. And, his career is amazing, and that's why he is a forever Eagle.
Do you think
I'm so
he's
glad
done or not?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, the wording after the Super Bowl, I just don't know.
I would rather leave on a high note, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, I
get you. I mean, I think it's...
If I could walk out a champion.
Oh, my gosh. You kidding me?
And not walk out. Like, I get it. You feel good about this team's chances of getting back next year. But if you lose and your expectations were getting back and now you're extremely disappointed, that pain of your final game's far worse than the joy you got from winning it. I would rather retire after winning the Super Bowl.
I would think so, too, at this point. But, again, it's all about that. You don't want that regret. And I think, like, when Saquon signed with the Eagles, if you watch and listen to New Heights, there was buyer's remorse for Jason Kelce.
Oh, absolutely.
It was clear. He was like, are you kidding me? Now they got Saquon.
He also probably thought they weren't going to do the tush push as much, which they still did.
And I'm thinking, are you kidding me? Like, is he going to come out? Is he going to rescind and want to come back? He didn't.
He didn't. And look, it worked out for the Eagles this year.
It did.
Now, speaking of Jason Kelce, what are the people saying on the text line, Connor? Because a lot of people are chiming in on today's discussion about Jason Kelce. I don't know. Like, did I even ask a question about it? Like, what's your reaction? That's our question when it comes to Jason Kelce. Because it's funny. I didn't have a reaction. When I read the manifesto, as you say, when I watched the clip.
No, because I brought it up to you, and I actually had a reaction.
I know
you did not, and you did not.
And not only, I didn't just watch the clip that you sent us, which was like a 2-minute video. Somebody posted like a 6-minute long, it wasn't a video, it was just the audio from the podcast. I listened to all 6 minutes of it, and I was just like, all right. He was upset that his brother lost. He's happy for the Eagles, but he was really upset for his brother because that's his blood. And that was my honest reaction. But I know a lot of people are like you, John.
That are just like,
and then there's people that are even more over the top with now all of a sudden dislike of Jason Kelce.
Well, that's stupid.
Here was one tweet. He needs to be booed if he shows his face on Friday. Never seen a former player so upset over the team's success without him.
And I guess, he's brought it on himself. It was disgusting to watch. I couldn't stand it. It was killing me. Like, I mean, that he took it way over the top. And if that's how he truly feels, fine. But expect there's going to be fallout from it. Expect that. It's engagement farming. That entire manifesto we posted, that's engagement farming.
I don't think so, dude.
I understand. You don't believe so. I absolutely believe it's all. And as a big supporter of that show, I do believe it is.
Okay.
Completely.
What are the people saying on the text line, Connor?
Bruce in East Thurl says, John, I couldn't disagree more with you and anyone who shares your thoughts about Jason. He was in a situation none of us can relate to. I'm more than certain if the Birds played anyone else, we would have seen shirtless, drunk Jason Kelce. I believe he held back his excitement for the Eagles out of respect for Travis and the rest of his family, and I applaud him for doing that.
I feel fine. Absolutely feel like I would have been so uncomfortable in that box if I was rooting for the Eagles. With all of his family, his mom and dad and everything like that. It was terrible. And Tay-Tay. And so he would, I'd feel uncomfortable there too. It would take, this all could be, you can still say, Travis would not have hated his brother or been mad at his brother if he congratulated the Eagles on an amazing championship win. Party on, Philadelphia. One tweet, it's over, it's done. It's done. This would not even be an issue.
Well, they would still have to do the podcast.
But nobody would be discussing wow, did Jason handle it right? No, that's how you would, by the way, that's how you would have handled it right. Congratulate your old team that you claim you are Mr. Philadelphia. You are Eagle for life. You've said those words, not me. You've told the city of Philadelphia how they should do things in sports and everything like that. You made yourself that title. It's really simple to just say, congratulations, it's awesome.
Now,
and then to put the tweet up and then delete it? That's ridiculous.
Well, wasn't the New Heights
I understand.
tweeted it. So that's
you don't think, wait a minute, who do you think decides what goes up, what they tweet out?
Some people do not run their socials, John.
I understand, but somebody saw it. Take that down. Somebody said, take it down.
Part of that is also like the Taylor Swift fans were going nuts.
Yeah, that was.
Who do you think took it down? One of those two made that decision to take that thing down.
I did. Okay.
They're making the decision.
Yeah, what were you going to say, Connor?
Well, I was going to say, as far as telling people in Philadelphia how to handle their business, we do that every day. So we can't act like that's not a thing that happens in media or anything. These guys are members of the media now, and whether they posted it or not, the podcast, what was it going to be if that post doesn't happen? They're just going to pretend like Jason Kelce doesn't have a different rooting interest in this game?
They would have had a real good conversation on it. I think their conversations between brothers are fantastic.
Right, like that clip still happens whether that tweet comes out or not.
It's not necessarily the same because the conversation ended up being a reaction to people are really coming down on me.
I mean, that conversation
happen.
about who Jason Kelce's rooting for and how he felt during the game happens whether that tweet goes out or not. And to assume it doesn't is crazy.
But the conversation on the podcast is about him getting grief because that was a created situation by him.
That conversation over, an hour-long episode?
No, but it was a big part of it.
Okay.
So if you haven't, I don't. You should listen. I've listened to around 40 minutes of it.
Okay.
If you do, it's really worth listening to. If you don't like Jason Kelce because of this, I would just say to you, you were never a fan of his to begin with.
Right.
Because you couldn't dislike him because of this. But you absolutely could say, and I was saying it to myself, listening to it in the car, Jason, you made this situation. You created this. It didn't have to happen. You didn't have to delete the tweet from New Heights. You could have put out your own tweet and just said, congratulations, Eagles. Party on, Philly. You deserve it. And it would have been done. Nobody,
fascinated.
Yeah, I can't understand remotely any of your points on this at all.
I'm fascinated by the reaction. Look, we'll continue talking about it, but I want to get to this real quick. Speaking of reaction.
Yes?
Have you ever heard of the Howard Stern Show?
Yeah, he's a great
Yeah, once or twice.
Yeah, pretty good radio show. So Saquon was on it yesterday. And, again, Howard Stern's not a sports guy, right? So he asked about Taylor Swift.
He's not a sports guy.
He asked about Taylor Swift and the reaction. So here's a quote from Barkley. I love you, Saquon Barkley, but this was a major miss by him because he's not paying attention. I remember that they showed her on the Jumbotron and she got booed. I don't get it. I don't get why she was getting hate here. We're trying to expand the game, and her being part of it is only helping it. I don't get the dislike that she's getting. Saquon, 2/3 of that building was Eagles fans.
Correct.
Those Eagles fans knew that she's a turncoat.
Yes.
And, oh, by the way, she's rocking Chiefs gear. So if they showed anybody rocking the Chiefs.
After rocking Eagles gear and promoting herself as an Eagles fan.
Yes.
That's why you're getting the grief.
That's why she got booed, and deservedly so. And her father, turncoat, deservedly so.
And there is that's a big part of it. Her brand has taken a hit. Her brand took a hit because she got involved in a lot of topics that you don't need to be involved in
I don't think she's worried about anything.
Well, no, she's hated the negative publicity to it.
Oh yeah, she has.
Well, no one likes negative publicity.
But it's negative again. But it's negative publicity that she creates.
Right, but whatever. Like this is not on Saquon though. Like
Saquon should know this.
Here's the thing. So we brought up a Joe Burrow interview before, where he was before the show, like behind the scenes.
Okay.
Where Joe Burrow on Pardon My Take with Barstool was like, "Oh, we should do what the Eagles do. They pay everybody somehow. Like we should figure out how to do that." In that interview, they randomly brought up like the Shohei Ohtani Ipe thing. And he had no idea about it. He had to ask him to explain the situation. Like, athletes are so zoned in.
I got it.
They exist on a different plane than we do. So, like, if Saquon doesn't know, somebody just let him know. But I get him not understanding that.
But that's a miss. Somebody has to inform him. Hey, Saquon, she claimed to be an Eagles fan.
Oh, forever.
Turncoat.
She claimed forever at her every performance in Philly.
Yeah.
Every performance in Philly.
I attended one.
It was
I did as well.
I'm a Philly.
Which
Phillies,
one did you attend?
Eagles.
I went to the Red Tour way back in the day.
That's what I was at.
Hell yeah, brother.
Ed
Let's
Sheeran
go.
opened.
Did you guys hold hands? Oh,
I didn't know.
We didn't know
I didn't know
each other.
Connor yet.
But if I did know Andy, we would have.
We would have
friendship bracelets.
You know what? We would have held hands and had friendship bracelets.
I think one of the most talented guys out there, Ed Sheeran.
Oh, I thought you were going to say
Not you.
me.
No,
Wow.
Ed Sheeran.
Thanks a lot. All right, coming up next. I want to get into this real quick because the Super Bowl is not just about the players on the field. It's also the families, as we know, about the Jason Kelce, Travis Kelce situation. How proud do you think Avarian Hurts is, the father of Jalen Hurts? I'm going to read you some quotes of his from a Tim McManus story that are beautiful. Also, a story on Mama Hurts. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
ESPN's Tim McManus on the best show ever.
It does in a way.
Salciunas on this championship Thursday morning here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Our man Kevin Negandhi is going to be joining us today, coming up at 8:55. He had great interviews with Jalen, with Cooper DeJean, so we'll talk to him about that coming up later on the 8 o'clock hour. And then obviously we get to just celebrate with him.
It's so
because
awesome.
Kevin, even though he's a national media member at ESPN, he has his Eagles pride on his sleeve, man. So I know that was a big day for him. Remember, we talked to him on Radio Row. He had the chance to go to the game, but he wanted to be home with his kids. And I imagine the Negandhi household was going nuts.
I got a good text here from a tweet here, on DMs from one of our listeners saying, John, you navigated exactly the same type of stuff that Jason Kelce did for years. He moved up here back home in 2009. He goes, I remember what kind of grief you would get every time your Eagle pride or Philly pride came up against the Braves or the Falcons.
I think this is a completely
different. No, I'm saying is, but the thing is, though, it doesn't mean you don't have to change your thing. You just be who you are is the message. Just be who you are.
You always talk about your brother being the great athlete. Was he the quarterback of the Falcons?
No, just be who you are. Nobody cares if you just be who you are.
Yeah, but you know who he is? He might be family first before anything else.
Then that's fine. Then just be who you are. Everyone will love Jason Kelce in this town. Everyone will love him. But when you say that one thing and do another, people are going to be like, wait a minute. Which one were you playing us on?
I think you're getting too caught up on the 11 months ago Eagles-Chiefs scenario.
But did you listen to the full interview? No. If you didn't, you're critiquing me on something you didn't listen to.
Okay, we heard the clip, John. You can't play that card.
No, it's not just a clip. It's not just a clip.
He said he would root for his brother, but he would root for the Eagles.
No, I am 100% an Eagle. I am Philadelphia. I am going to be. He goes, I would want you to do well.
Yeah.
But, so if he changed
his... He didn't at all.
He didn't.
That's what I'm saying.
That doesn't make you then...
That's what made it so hard.
But that doesn't make you... And how do you go from 100% to 0%?
Because in 11 months, people change opinions. It's unfair to expect someone to be that consistent 100% of the time over a nearly year period when family's involved, the football team you gave your entire professional career to is involved, and you're on a national stage. It's an unfair bar you're setting for him.
I don't think it's unfair when he set the bar. I didn't set it.
Okay, we can play semantics on this all we want.
Connor, it's not it is not semantics when it is his words, and he goes on and on. It's a long interview about it. It's a long discussion. You're talking about a clip. It's a long discussion, and he was adamant.
I think I got the gist of the conversation, John.
100%. So you go from 100% to 0%.
No, it was not 0%. It was 100% to I'm emotional in the moment about
watching my brother's team
get
we spanked.
Totally get it. You don't have to. When you put everything, when you live out loud and you look for clickbait and you look for engagement, this is what you get.
I'd say this, though. It's not all, dude, because I still remember the spiking of the phone this year because some guy said horrible things about his brother. That wasn't, hey, let me get reaction
that was tell that idiot that
because he was defending his brother who he loves. And his brother who he loves had a horrible game, and so he was emotional about it.
You didn't have to. This is an entirely created situation by them, not by anybody else. Don't put it on anybody else. It's by them. And I'm going to tell you, I think it's completely naive if you do not believe it is partially calculated.
I don't think this is.
I don't think so at all.
This is going to be great. The audience is going to eat this up. People are going to want to hear this.
Crying on the podcast clip?
It can. Yes, that's part of what that whole show is.
Jason Kelce's fake crying on the podcast?
No, I'm not saying fake. No, I'm not saying he's fake crying.
Give him an Oscar.
I didn't say he's fake crying.
That's what it sounded like you just implied.
Then stop saying what you think it sounds like and listen to what I said.
Andrew, am I wrong here that it sounded like you just implied that?
No, I never said it was fake crying. I listened to the damn show. He cries, by the way. I think he's cried on like 8 or 9 podcasts.
He cries a lot.
He cries a lot.
He's
a very emotional guy, and you know that. If you listen to the show, he knows that. But one of the things is, when you're doing that, you're saying, I guarantee you it's, dude, save this for the show. This will be great for the show. This is a conversation that we can have that's great for our advertisers, our engagement. And if you don't think that's going on, I'm just going to tell you, I believe 100% you're being naive.
I don't think that show was prepped.
I don't believe they faked. No,
I think that was just.
I don't believe they
motion.
faked. I don't believe they faked the conversation. I think it's 100% real, 100%. But I do say, we're doing this on the show.
I'm going to guess that
We're
maybe
doing
there's
this
a
for
producer that was thinking that way, or whoever helps run their podcast felt that way. I guarantee you Jason wasn't looking forward to doing this episode.
I guarantee you, I don't think either one of them was.
So?
I don't think either one of them was, but you know what? They don't mind the check. They don't mind the engagement.
Not.
They don't mind what they built. And
Jason
by the
Kelce also didn't want to do the tush push, but he didn't mind the check.
By the way, what they've built is incredible.
Yeah.
I love the show, and I find it to be one of the most engaging. Like, it's one of my top 4 or 5 podcasts that I will hit.
After Kincade and Salciunas.
Yeah.
I do
this show. See, I do this show. I don't have to listen to it twice.
I do the YouTube. Speaking of family.
YouTube is good.
Family ties.
I loved Family Ties.
Variant Hurts is the father of Jalen Hurts. Yahoo Sports didn't know that. Remember that
Yes.
A.J. Brown with a fan? Come on, man.
It's unbelievable.
Here's a quote from him. Great job by Tim McManus, as always, with this article. And then he's talking about his son, Jalen. I am just so humbly happy for him. That's first and foremost, and that's all I care about as a daddy. I cried a little bit earlier, and I haven't cried since the USC-Alabama game.
Wow.
I hadn't shed a tear since then, but for whatever reason, it came out, so I guess it was the right time. They won that game, and they won this game so evidently. The tears brought joy and victory. And that's great.
Oh, that's moving.
And look, I know Coach's son, and you've heard the stories that he coached Jalen hard, and that's why Jalen and Nick may have a good relationship on the field.
Sure.
When it comes to Nick raising his voice toward Jalen Hurts. I remember people were outraged by that once. Like, no, he might like that kind of coaching. The other great thing, Mama Hurts. She was at a party where Nick Wright was at.
She had the Clutch Sports Party.
And she went up to Nick Wright and straight up confronted him and said, why are you always so critical about my son? Or no, sorry, about Jalen.
About Jalen.
She did not tell him that she was his mom. And so Nick Wright's trying to explain it, and then it just kept on going to the point where Nick had to ask her, are you related to Jalen?
No, he said, are you Jalen Hurts' mother?
And she said, yes, I am. And then she apparently kept on going. Speaking of Jalen's mom, I didn't bring this up, but a few weeks ago, one of our clips that Haley does a great job with and Brendan Gunn does a great job with, I was asking, like, why is Jalen Hurts so criticized or whatever? She actually commented on the video.
That's great. And that's great job on you and Haley.
Mama Hurts. She's ready to throw hands for Jalen.
I'm telling you, it's okay to put the phone down occasionally. And to not hear everything.
Dude, I'll be honest.
That's being said.
If my mom was on social media and saw some of the crap that you people out there say about us.
Your mom doesn't ever look at it?
No, she's not on social media. She uses my dad's Facebook account.
Oh, no.
Pamela Hurts, I respect you.
She's a mama bear.
Damn right she is.
Get the hell out of her way.
My mom would throw hands for me in a heartbeat. All right, coming up next, we continue today's
Nobody fight
topics.
anyone's mom, please.
Yeah, I would. Yeah,
seriously,
no mom fights.
Leave mom alone.
Coming up next, we'll reset the show. We'll play the Jason Kelce clip again in case you hadn't heard it yet, and we'll continue this conversation. I'm fascinated by it right here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Parade Day Eve. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Eagles are NFL champions. If you haven't heard, they won Super Bowl 59 over the Chiefs, and we're going to be talking about that for a long, long time here in Philadelphia. The national media is as well. Adam Schefter joined Kincade Salciunas yesterday and talked about how no one can ever take this accomplishment away from them.
They're champions for the rest of their life. You never can take that away from them, ever. This was the most dominant team that the Eagles have had, easily, and it worked out really well for them, and they were impressive.
Now we're on the eve of one of the biggest celebrations in the city's history, so make sure whatever you do, you rest up tonight, Philly. Tomorrow is Parade Day. It'll start at 11 a.m. from the sports complex. They follow the same route as the last time they won it all and end with speeches at the Art Museum at around 2 p.m. Sixers fell to the Nets 196 in their final game before the All-Star break. They're now off to February 20th as the NBA All-Star Game festivities take place this weekend. Sixers have no representatives in the game this time around. Kevin Negandhi of ESPN will join us coming up at 8:55. This update's brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. At Mercedes-Benz, there's a reason they go the extra mile, from testing their vehicles to creating AI that can anticipate your needs on the road. They demand that every car is worthy of their star because it's Mercedes-Benz. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
The Eagles are once again Super Bowl champions.
Thursday here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. We appreciate all of you who have been along for the ride since the show started. 237 shows.
Wow.
Now, Johnny, unbelievable.
So 238 is the parade show.
Yes.
That's awesome.
That's a good number to remember.
That's awesome.
And, of course, this is, you're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group Station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. Very excited for the parade show tomorrow.
Oh, my gosh.
As we'll be broadcasting live from the Cambria Hotel, Philadelphia, 219 South Broad Street. We'll be there from 6 to 10. Mike Missanelli show will be broadcasting there from 10 to 2. There's a little balcony that we'll be on.
No, it's not little.
Well, big balcony.
It's a big balcony.
Big balcony that we will be doing the show from, looking down on the Broad Street. And then, of course, the best show ever will be live from Pagano's Market and Bar in Commerce Square on Market Street in Center City, all presented to us by, anybody else want to have fun?
Foreman Mills.
Yeah, it's a little weak, but
by the
I'll give
way,
you credit.
I wasn't really prepared. I thought you were going to do it.
Did somebody have fun?
Had a few people inquire this morning. You can't come and watch with us at the Cambria. Because there's some people going, can we come to the hotel and watch?
Yeah.
No, you cannot watch from the patio of the Cambria. So just so you know.
It's not that we're roping you off.
It's
we're doing a show. There's like multiple other
correct. I think
companies.
Peter and Stan are
Peter
there.
and Stan will be there.
Also, any building that opens their doors that day is going to be mobbed real quick.
Correct.
So
it's a hotel where they have guests and everything like that. So you cannot come and watch with us on the balcony.
Well, you can watch with me.
I've had two people this morning. How many people? How do you get the passes to be able to come and watch on the balcony? I'm like, no, that's not how it works.
We'll be done at 10. I'll be with the people as soon as we're done.
Is that what you're going to do?
On the street. Absolutely. I'm going to try to get as close to the art museum as I can get.
How long do you think?
Fun.
How long? Okay, Connor. I want an over/under tomorrow on how long it takes Connor. We'll do it tomorrow on the show. It would take him if he left at 10, like right on the number. How long it would take him to get to the art museum tomorrow?
Well, the pro move will get subway. You go north.
No, we're not that far off.
You sort of catty corner it, don't you? You're Broad and Locust.
Oh, okay.
So you don't want to do the subway.
Yeah, I'm just going to walk. I'll be there in 30 minutes.
That's going to be
tops.
hard.
You say 30 minutes tops?
I would take the under on that line.
Connor, you are. That's a.
I'm going
nimble
above.
Move. I'm going above
because there might be people that recognize you, want to stop you and say hi.
Who's going to recognize me?
I'm going to put a name tag on your back. Kick me sign.
I shaved the mustache. I'm incognito now.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. No,
Ron Davis wants to know: can we reach the cat with beers from Broad Street if he was to send them up?
I would challenge.
Maybe we put a pulley system.
I'll challenge people to throw them.
Maybe a pulley system.
Does anybody
don't throw beers with us.
Does anybody recreate the Doug Peterson beer?
Where he catches it,
dude. That was that was Doug's best moment of his career, the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles.
The
I
best
got my
moment
pick too.
The best moment of his whole career.
Yes,
catching a beer.
You're moving.
Right.
And it was so baller, too, because the way he caught it was just like,
the statue says Bud Light on it.
Yeah.
There's a reason.
There's a reason for it, man.
It'll be Jordan Mailata this year, just because he's the tallest guy.
By the way, are we going to have a second statue?
No, that was Bud Light made the statue.
No. Well, Bud Light's a major sponsor of the Birds.
Yeah.
Are they going to make another statue for the building?
I don't think so. And it's not even there.
Why would you
think? Is it still there?
Yeah, it's still there.
I thought they moved it. Or they moved it to a different area.
No, it's in Head House Square.
Okay, yeah.
So why would they not do another one?
Because it wasn't the Philly call that coincided with their Dilly campaign, the Lane Johnson campaign of we need these free beers for people. They're not going to build another statue.
I don't think so.
Okay. It was a marketing genius. It was marketing genius on their part.
Genius. And honestly, there's nobody you could really piss off this time.
Great.
Sorry, Carson.
There's always someone to piss off in Philadelphia.
That's true. All right, so let's play the Jason Kelce clip again, speaking of. Here was Jason Kelce on his podcast, New Heights with Travis, explaining how hard it was for him on Sunday to watch the Eagles play in the Super Bowl against his brother, Travis.
What was it like for you watching this one?
Terrible. It sucks. I've always supported you.
Every step of the way.
It was hard to navigate because obviously I'm trying to say that I have people on the Eagles that I love, and I also have you. And I tried to make it known that I was rooting for you. And it felt like I couldn't be right. It felt like no matter what I said, some people were going to skew it and say that I'm rooting for the Eagles. And some people were going to skew it and say that I was rooting for the Chiefs or Travis. Yeah. And it sucked.
I think the people in the Philadelphia organization understand exactly who you are and what you represent and how you were saying it.
It was very, very hard to watch. And I know that, like, I don't know. I tried to correlate that I was rooting for both sides the whole time and that I was going to be happy and sad regardless.
It's a unique situation that nobody can relate to. Nobody can relate to this.
I just don't know how to articulate that. I'm happy for some of the Eagles, but at the same time, I was miserable during the game watching you not achieve your success again. That's the reality of it. It sucked, and, like, it felt weird for me not to be cheering.
Some of the Eagles?
Yeah, so we've gotten a bunch of texts saying that's the part that people question.
And I think some people are upset about that. I would imagine C.J. Gardner-Johnson is who he's talking about.
Yeah, because of the Taylor Swift
cheap
social
shot,
media
because of the
post.
cheap shot stuff.
Which, by the way,
that was totally unacceptable.
Yeah, that was bad, dude.
That was totally
I
unacceptable.
love you, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson.
That was a bad look.
That was a bad look, dude.
A really bad look. And then he got grief.
Yeah, he's experiencing the fallout of that.
Yes, exactly. I think that was a cheap shot, and it was unnecessary completely.
But,
I mean, you're rooting for some guys on the Eagles?
I totally get that.
Well, he doesn't know.
Like Zach Bond or like he played against Saquon.
I can tell you this.
He's in the building.
He's in the building every week.
Yeah, but I imagine
He's met every
his lineman, his fellow offensive lineman.
I understand that, but he's like there every week. He's not a it's not like he's gone away. In fact, they've talked about on the show. He's there all the time on Thursdays. He's there all the time.
Yeah,
he talks about it. I don't know where he'd be rooting for certain.
Well, it's the hierarchy, right? Because it's like the Eagles as an entity are one thing, but I don't think Jason Kelce, if he had the choice of his brother winning or Cooper DeJean winning.
No, I got that.
Travis
Everybody would understand that.
And he has said Lane Johnson, I've heard him on, again, the podcast, that Lane Johnson is his brother that's not blood, right?
Exactly.
Travis is his blood brother and he loves him to death, right? But Lane Johnson is that brother who's like, man, we're just not related.
Correct.
But he's my brother. So I imagine he's rooting for Lane Johnson. Not as much as Travis, but probably close. Right? They manned an offensive line together for how many years? And obviously had a great relationship, one another, and they were there for each other during tough times. Obviously, Lane Johnson's been open about his struggles with anxiety that he's dealt with.
Correct.
So they have a very special bond, more so than, to Connor's point, Cooper DeJean.
Well, I mean, it's some, but you're not rooting for them to win?
I think it was poorly worded, and I think the ethos of what he was trying to capture was like, I'm tight with some of these guys to the level where I would root to them equally as like my brother winning. And I think he could have worded it better, but I don't think it was meant to put down guys on the team.
I think it was meant to say I'm not rooting for some of the people in the room because of a personal thing, and we all agree.
But that happened after they won.
Okay, but after they won, he said it after they won.
Yeah, but he was rooting for he's talking about I was rooting for some of the Eagles. The Chauncey Gardner-Johnson thing didn't happen until after the game.
Yeah,
I don't think he was rooting against Chauncey Gardner-Johnson during the game.
There's it's just really, again, when you're living on Front Street, it's what happens.
Well,
Everything
and that's
is
the
up
thing.
for
He's
grabs.
a very public figure.
By the way, the one thing I take is people are going to skew it, like I was rooting for the Chiefs. No, Jason, you told everybody how you were going to be in that situation.
Right.
People who are big fans of your show, people who support your content, people who love listening to you. You told them how you were going to act, and then you act like I didn't say that.
I think he's very worried about what people say about him online.
And because that's what happens when you live
right.
online.
And remember, he's always been a hero here. Now all of a sudden he's not.
He still is.
No, he still is. I get
if
it.
He's not. By the way, if he was your hero last week and he's not your hero today, well, first off,
absolutely.
To me, it's stupid. It's stupid. You can dislike what he did in a moment or have an issue with it, and you can still say, dude, he is one of the greatest that ever wore the uniform, and we love him here.
Yeah, I just think the small center circle of the Venn diagram of this whole conversation is that Jason Kelce has become overexposed.
Yes.
And I can't expect him to not do that because of the paycheck that comes with that podcast
Correct.
and his career after football. But it's a lot of him right now. And people, when you have a lot of stuff out there, there are going to be things people disagree with.
Yeah, I think there are people that are probably already annoyed with him, right? Because he's all over the place.
Why would you be
him even more.
annoyed? You can be, I'm tired of it.
Right.
But why would you be annoyed at him for it? I'm like, you know what I mean?
saying the same thing.
No, what I'm saying is, there are people, though, who are.
Yeah.
I personally feel they're both overexposed. But I'm like, I'm not mad at them for it. Because if they're deciding to go chase the bag and do that, but with that comes ramifications.
Right.
When everything in your life has to be public, front and center, don't be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe people are reacting to this because you did that.
It doesn't make
You
it not
chose to do
difficult to deal with, though.
It does, but you're creating it. That if it makes it very difficult, I would suggest that moving forward, conduct differently.
Yeah, but if I jump off a tree and I break my leg, I'm still going to complain that my leg hurts, even though I'm the one that did it.
Oh, and here's the other thing.
You have the right to do that.
Then what I'm saying is,
and then in the
don't
future,
jump out of a tree again.
But you can't say don't complain about the leg.
I'm not going to try to compare myself to Jason Kelce.
Please don't.
All
Please
right?
do.
All right.
Clip this.
No, but John, you would know about this. When I was a producer, I was the lovable producer. As soon as you have to be a host and start saying things
and have opinions,
people don't like you as much.
People hate you now.
I know.
I have to delete all the texts of Andrew Salciunas.
I know, because I'm not just the fun, lovable producer anymore. Jason Kelce is not just the fun, lovable Eagles player that wears the Mummers costume.
Here's the difference. You don't give a damn.
No, I don't give a damn. You're right.
I don't either.
Say whatever you want about me on social media.
It's like, I don't care. If I don't know you, I don't care.
You know what I did last night, John? Slept like a baby.
Yeah, that's because you ate all those. That's because you ate all those chocolate-covered strawberries.
Yeah, and because we're Super Bowl champions.
That makes you sleep well.
I got to bring that up next with Connor.
That was a violation.
I don't know if it was.
It was.
I don't believe that it was. Connor, you'll be the judge coming up next. Also, speaking of Connor, today's headlines with Connor Thomas comes your way next year on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
The Eagles are once again Super Bowl champions. Down in the
It is 8:11 here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. By the way, I hope you have a nice, safe driving to work today. It is foggy out there and still a little misty. It was a beautiful drive for me coming in.
Looks like the Port Charles docks. It is very, very foggy.
Yeah, foggy. So just be careful out there, all right?
It is a lot of that going on.
All right, we have headlines with Connor in a few minutes, but Connor, I need you to be the judge of something here. John is claiming that this is a violation. I don't agree when both parties were involved.
You had a consenting woman with you.
That's always a good thing.
Wow.
Exactly.
So, last night, yesterday, I should say, Christy came home from the grocery store, and she brought home a mini box of chocolate-covered strawberries.
What's mini box? 6?
Yeah, 6.
Okay, that's a good number.
And so, we got our trip to Clearwater in 5 weeks, so we're both trying to,
What?
Eat right and cut down and be ready.
Post-football diet is going on for a lot of people.
Yeah,
right now.
ready?
And
Yes,
so even though it's still covered in chocolate, it's, at least it's not a big bowl of ice cream. It's a chocolate-covered strawberry. You can get away with that a little bit when you need a little treat, right? So she bought the chocolate-covered strawberries. I was not totally aware that it was for Friday specifically, tomorrow, for Valentine's Day. I didn't forget that Valentine's Day is tomorrow, so don't worry about that. I just thought she brought them home because, hey, it'd be nice to have a little treat tonight. When I asked her, are we having these tonight? She said, no, they're for Valentine's Day. And I was like, oh, okay. Coop goes to bed. We go back downstairs. We're both in the mood for a little treat.
Oh, you're in the mood for a treat. Okay.
And so we open up the fridge, and there's the strawberries.
Well, where's this whole thing about the beach trip coming up then? Then what happened?
What do you mean? No,
you were just telling me how important the beach trip is and you guys, so I don't understand.
What do you mean?
Well, he's saying they're a healthy snack.
No, they're a healthier snack than a big bowl of ice cream is what I'm saying.
So where's the issue come in here, though?
John believes we ate them last night.
So now what are you going to do? Are you going to get more for Valentine's Day?
Do something else.
But you guys both did. It's not like you raided the fridge.
Exactly. It's not like I ate these by myself and I went to bed with chocolate all over my face. She said, what did you do? And the strawberries you bought. We both agreed, you know what? We'll eat them tonight instead of waiting till Friday.
So what are you going to do for Friday?
Well, I'm already going to make a nice dinner. I'm the
you're going to do that.
cook in the house.
Very nice.
So I'm going to make a really nice dinner Friday.
Okay.
I don't know yet, but I'll figure it out. I'll go to the store and grab some things and put.
Okay.
I can do that. I can just.
What's the dessert?
Each other. I don't know.
All right.
Now I didn't need to hear
let's just say no violation on this one from my perspective.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think
you
so
guys
either.
just decided to eat something you bought a day early.
Yeah.
I do that with every bag of chips I ever bring home. That's okay.
Yeah, you're going to save that for the next day. Then you want
Yeah, I'm not going to eat all
John
these
thinks it's a
Doritos.
violation.
And then you leave open food on your nightstand.
I've gotten better at that, actually. I think I'm a changed
hope
man.
so.
Now as a two-time Super Bowl champion, I have to hold myself
You're
to a higher
growing up.
standard.
That's good work. All right, it's time now for today's headlines with Connor Thomas.
Today's headlines with Connor Thomas.
What do we got, Connor?
All right. Well, first, we're going to start with last night's Sixers performance, just specifically one player, because I know, Andrew, you want to talk about this. Paul George's box score, his stat line, did you see that?
Yes.
All right, I'll read it for the people here because it was not ideal. In 37 minutes, he went 1 for 7 from the field, 0 for 5 from 3, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 points.
He looks so cooked.
So
he looks so cooked.
I'm glad that headlines is a quick segment because I could literally talk about this for 4 hours, but I know nobody wants to hear about Paul George for 4 hours unless you just wanted to vent. We were not in favor of the signing, but I will say I thought it would be a fit. I
thought he would be a fit also.
And look, we got to keep it 100, right? Always. And we pride ourselves on doing that. He's worse than Tobias Harris.
Yes, he is.
And I could not wait. I celebrated Tobias Harris is no longer a Sixer day by popping a bottle of champagne.
Will you have the same energy now when we're past the parade and everything for Paul George, who is worse than Tobias Harris?
I probably will have. I have to.
And they're paying him more than Tobias Harris.
I mean, it's horrible because they have not been able to rely on him on a game yet. Look at his numbers. I know he's averaging 16 a game, but what's been the Paul George game? There hasn't been one.
And you think one's going to come next year when he's older?
Right.
And the next year when he's older? Paul George is exactly what he's been before his contract year.
He had a contract year, and we spoke to some people and warned them of said contract year, because that happens in sports all the time.
Correct.
And, decisions were made, and it was once again a wrong decision made by the franchise.
Yeah, not great right now. Not ideal. So let's move on.
Yep, let's move on, because I could talk about it for 4 hours, but
I think
that would just be punishing myself.
So Carl Ravitch was on a call for Texas, Alabama yesterday.
Oh, my God.
And he had a very interesting stat. We'll see if you guys can figure this out. Since January 4th into Tuesday, so actually it was 2 days ago, the SEC teams are 82-82. There's no dominant group of teams, was what Carl Ravitch said on the broadcast. Can you guys possibly explain why this interesting statistic exists?
Well, I can explain it because I told you about it. Johnny?
I do not know why it exists.
82-82 versus each other.
Oh.
They're in conference play right now, Johnny.
There we go. That's really good.
One SEC team wins.
Oh, we did.
And one SEC team loses.
That totally flew over my head.
Now, that flew over your head. He's doing the broadcast like, I got a stat for you. There's
incredible.
no domination in this conference.
Oh, that's bad. That's bad. Yeah, that's bad.
And I'm just like, did somebody write that down for him?
I think he got by a tweet. It's been a tweet that's been floating around from like the fake accounts or whatever.
Okay.
And I think he got.
Really?
Carl got caught in the garbage.
All right, so you think he saw someone on social media? Because I wonder if there was like an intern that like gave him 20 notes for today's game to talk about.
Got, but somebody somewhere I think saw this floating around X and was like, let's get this on the broadcast because that's wild.
Yeah, because play-by-play guys, like people got to understand, they don't just go into the game and do the game. They have notes that when there's downtime, if a team's getting destroyed, they need to have talking
And they have
points.
researchers that provide them with said notes. ESPN Stats and Information is one of the greatest resources ever, and I hope they never take me off their emails.
Did that one make it? Did the 82-82 in conference play make it?
That sounds bad.
Technically true.
Yeah,
not very meaningful.
Absolutely true, Connor. That is factually correct. No ties in college basketball in the SEC since January.
Don't tell Donovan McNabb.
Yeah, no ties.
He knows that one pretty well now.
Bad.
All right, great job, Connor. Coming up next, we told you that we were going to do this, and we're very, very excited for it. NFL Films. Love the work that they do year in and year out. Yesterday was the special where they had the mic'd up of Eagles-Chiefs Super Bowl 59.
I can't wait to watch this.
I can't wait for it either. I actually got a tweet. And it's funny because it's probably true. Our man Mark Miller goes, mic'd up video played on the NFL Network last night. It was actually better than the Super Bowl.
Because you're hearing it like the inside story.
Well, no, by the way, the Super Bowl was a blowout. So, he was probably more entertained by this. So we have clips for you that we'll play for you coming up next. It is Kincade Salciunas on this Championship Thursday, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Parade day tomorrow. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Eagles will be celebrating their Super Bowl 59 championship tomorrow as they parade down Broad Street. We're going to be talking about this team for a long time, and nobody can take this accomplishment away from them. ESPN's Adam Schefter joined Kincade and Salciunas yesterday and talked about just that.
They're champions for the rest of their life. You never can take that away from them, ever. This was the most dominant team that the Eagles have had, easily, and it worked out really well for them, and they were impressive.
Easily the most dominant team. We'll be able to talk about that for a long time as well. Where do they rank in the hierarchy of not just Eagles teams, but NFL teams? Well, while we debate that conversation, make sure whatever you do tonight, Philadelphia, you're resting up, hydrating, as Zach Blount said at the Sixers game earlier this week. Big day tomorrow. The parade will start at 11 a.m. They're following the same route as the last time the Eagles won it all, and it will end with speeches at the Art Museum at around 2 p.m. Sixers fell to the Nets 196 last night in their last action ahead of the All-Star break. They're now off until the 20th as the All-Star game weekend takes center stage. Sixers have no representatives this year. Kevin Negandhi of ESPN will join us coming up at 8:55. This update's brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app today. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Ricky Vitalico.
The Eagles completely outclassed the Chiefs.
Talking about the Super Bowl champs.
I almost look at this as a passing game.
2020. Let's relive it some more here on Kincade and Salciunas 97.5 The Fanatic. Don't forget tomorrow, Parade Day. We'll have a lot of fun with that as well. I'll tell you more what we're going to do tomorrow later on in the show. But this segment, told you about an hour ago we were going to do this. The NFL Films had the mic'd up highlights last night on TV, and we missed it, but we'll watch it at some point. But the beauty of doing this job for a living, we can ask Brendan Gunn to grab some of the best highlights from it, and then we can play it for you.
So it's sort of like what would the Emmys be on Kincade and Salciunas? Like, what would be the, like, I don't like any of those shows. I don't watch them. Any of them do I watch. ESPYs, Oscars, Emmys, I don't watch. But I don't know what ours would even be called. You got to come up with something.
With a name?
I mean, we got to come up with something catchy.
Okay.
But there's going to be a lot of, I can already tell from our conversations, a lot of different thoughts about where things fall.
Yeah.
We haven't even run them by Connor, which is great.
No, we're gonna have a lot of fun tomorrow.
It's gonna be so much fun tomorrow. You're dressing right for it.
Yeah,
dress
warm. It's gonna be
T-shirt.
Cold. Right? Yeah,
I don't
T-shirt.
think any of us are going to feel the cold at all tomorrow.
I'll feel the cold.
I'll feel the cold.
You will?
Yeah, I'll feel the cold.
I don't think I will.
I won't after 10 when I'm able to crack my first beer.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude.
Hey, you're not on the board. You'll be able to crack a beer earlier.
I'm about my business. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
He's allowed to crack a beer earlier.
I say, liar, liar, pants on fire.
8 o'clock in the morning, man.
Guess what?
Kegs and eggs.
It is parade day.
All right,
it is.
so
wait.
let's play some of these clips from you from the mic'd up. We'll start with pregame before the game started itself. I remember yesterday I said Landon Dickerson could be the guy that has the big speech on tomorrow.
He could.
So he actually, and I said he breaks huddles. I didn't realize he broke the huddle pregame with the Eagles. Here's both Jalen Hurts and Landon Dickerson before the game started.
We're not here to change the past. We're here to stamp our names in history. We got one opportunity. We've been working our whole lives for this to be immortalized right here. Hey, no stone unturned, man. We coming in here, we come to dominate. That's it. One play at a time. Let's just embrace the moment, man. Let's go! Turn it up!
Yeah.
No, I can't. I'm already choking up.
Dude, I think Landon Dickerson might be big on tomorrow, dude. I could see him taking the world by storm with this speech.
That'd be great. I'm now that got just listening to that got me fired.
And
up.
Jalen Hurts, dude, like
I just love seeing Jalen on loosening up his whole persona.
Yeah.
And I hope that this is one where he does let us in more.
It could be. We'll see what he has to say. Look, quarterback's got to talk tomorrow.
Oh, he is beloved.
He's going to talk. All right, so the game started, and obviously early on they got to Patrick Mahomes pretty quickly. Here was Chauncey Gardner-Johnson mic'd up talking about staying physical.
Do what we've been doing, bro. Keep being physical. Hey, you can't flag a physical play. Keep being physical. Trust each other, bro. Do this.
Well, you can flag a physical play because sometimes refs think that it's unnecessary roughness or whatever.
Yeah.
We see it with quarterbacks all the time, but
sometimes they're a little off.
I love the message. You can't flag a physical play. Now, this one's awesome. Zach Bond predicting an interception and then reacting to it. Take a listen.
It's coming. I'm going to get one. Hey, Nick, that's just there, bro. I told you you called that. You called that. Right there. Hey, dropped it in practice anyway. I dropped it in practice, made that in the game.
Zach Bond straight up saying, I'm going to get one.
He did.
They must have seen something. I mean, look, early on, you could tell that Mahomes was uncomfortable.
I'll tell you, whatever film study they did leading up to this Super Bowl, it was supreme. They knew exactly what to do to Patrick Mahomes. They knew how to, and he gets, I'll tell you, for a great player, and he is a great player, he gets really sort of pouty and bad body language.
Oh, yeah, he's always got the bad body language. Now he backs it up.
Now, he's a master competitor.
Yes, he is.
But I used to hate the bitter beer face I used to call Eli. Eli Manning used to get the bitter beer face when he would play the Eagles. He would just start getting depressed about everything.
Yeah.
And his sort of performance went by the wayside.
Well, when all you know is winning and then you start losing, it's like the little kid that has to win all the time.
Right, exactly.
All right, this was one of the coolest ones, and it was a great moment for Jalen Hurts. So Hurts throws the touchdown pass to Devontae Smith. It blows the door open, right?
That was it.
Nobody thought the game was going to be close before that, but that was like the kill shot.
The moment.
And after he throws the beautiful deep ball touchdown pass to Jalen Hurts, his offensive linemen come up to him and celebrate. And it's a lot of the linemen talking, and then at the very end, you hear a line from Jalen Hurts that's legendary. Take a listen.
Hey, boy. I love when they doubt you. I love when they doubt you, boy. I love when they doubt you. They can't with you. It ain't over. Hey, dog. You have the man. They can't with you, dog. I know.
You're the man. I know. That is a great response. I know. And remember, was it the divisional round in the snow, or I forget if it was the championship game against the Commanders, where he said that this is what I do. Like that, he's got so much confidence within himself, as he should.
And he backs it up.
That's the thing. Like,
there it is.
He's got a ton of confidence.
He backs it up. He's got he is the epitome of swagger.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
He's got all of it.
Like, it's really cool when a quarterback throws a touchdown pass and they run to the receiver. That's cool. Hurts throws a touchdown pass, just kind of stands there.
Yeah, he's smiling.
Yeah, I did it.
And to me too. Do you see in the video clips and watching the 15 the other day? A.J. Brown's joy for other people's success is tangible.
Yeah, absolutely, it is.
His joy when Devontae's getting his shine.
Yeah.
And when somebody else does it with Saquon, A.J. Brown's like a giant cheerleader out there.
Yeah.
And to me, I think that gives a little bit of because sometimes he gets a little bit of a bad rap.
Right, he does.
And
now,
I think that it's clear he's somebody who really does give a damn about all his teammates.
And speaking of AJ, so these next couple of clips, these are like when the game's coming down to an end and then after the game itself. So this is when John's going to start balling. Here's Hurts and AJ Brown. And remember, the phone call. They FaceTimed each other when the Eagles traded for AJ Brown. Here's Hurts and AJ sideline as the clock's winding down.
What we coming for? Yeah, you know that's what we coming for. And I told you we were gonna do this when I made that call, and it's done. For sure. She about to sing, but for sure. Man. Proud of you, bro. Appreciate you, man. Proud of you too. All the ups and downs, bro. It comes with it, man. It's a part of the game, and that's life, you know.
That's life. And look, there were some ups and downs earlier.
Okay, did you hear that? That part of it there? It's to all the people who were like, these two have beef. These two, exactly the point we made about brothers can have beef.
Happens.
Best friends can have beef. Under pressure, you can have beef. But the two of them, the love that they share for each other is clear.
Yeah.
And all of that, honestly, fake news that was out there about the two of them gets dispelled in just one sound clip there.
Right. Absolutely.
God, that was awesome. And that, by the way, that does choke me up.
I told you.
That one chokes me up.
This is the one that got a lot of people the other day. Here was Devontae Smith, because he himself is emotional in this clip. Devontae Smith and Jalen Hurts talking as the game's coming to an end.
I love you, boy. I love you too, dog. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you too, man. Way to keep this going, man. I got you, dog. Hey, man, this ain't our last time at this, man. We got some catching up to do, dog. For sure. Hey, it's been a ride, huh? For sure, man. It's been a ride. It's been a ride, dog. It's been a ride, man. You deserve it, bro. You deserve that. You deserve that. Embrace this, man, in your hometown. In your hometown.
You hear the two? Jalen deflecting everything there.
To everybody
deflecting
else.
Everything to Devontae.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you're in your hometown. You deserve this. You deserve this. It's been quite a ride. You look at, I mean.
Look, that's why that's leadership.
That's exactly. See that same brainwave.
How about another deflecting? Now this one's really cool. Here's Hurts, and you know that Hurts always talks about team.
Yes.
But here's Hurts giving a lot of love to their team's MVP, Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, Hurts gonna smile now. When that thing is 0-0. Hey man, that's you. That's you. Come on. That's you. All of us. I know it's all of us, but you don't understand the difference you made. You know. We right there, but you like that last piece, man.
And he was.
He was the last piece.
And I love that.
God, that's it. Okay, you're right. This will do me, because you know what's funny is I missed the good cry the other night.
Yeah, because the game was over.
It didn't have the same, like that game was, at halftime I'm going, oh my gosh.
Yeah, this game's over.
It's over.
Yeah, and it was just smiles. But you're right, like when Brady doesn't get it to Gronk, that tears came out.
Oh my gosh, because I was sitting with my heart in my throat.
Right. It was either vomit or tears that were going to be coming out. So we got a couple more of these that will play as the show continues. But, I mean, really cool. Great work by the NFL Films, as always.
And great work by Brendan
amazing.
Gunn getting it all for us.
Yeah, thank you, Brendan Gunn. #1 BG in the city. tied with Brandon Graham, of course. Brandon Graham, after winning a Super Bowl, you get back up to top billing. But they're tied right now. But I love how Hurts goes. Saquon goes, are we going to get a smile? Not until there's double zeros on the clock. Yo, dude, you're up 18 touchdowns.
Job's not finished.
Just smile already. All right, coming up next, we'll play more of these for you. Also,
that's great audio.
When are you ready to look ahead? Because I'm fascinated. John is already breaking down the schedule for next year. I'm not
I was
ready
thinking
yet.
of you two on Christmas.
I appreciate you looking out for us. I'm not even looking out for myself. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
Super Bowl champions Nick Sirianni.
This team embraced adversity throughout.
edition.
Man, that was some good stuff, by the way.
Amazing stuff by the NFL Films, as always. But I want to play one more for you. Brandon Graham, BG, who obviously may have played his last game. At least that's what's being reported. We'll see once he makes the final decision. But not just last game with the Eagles, last game in the NFL. And I would walk off as a champion. I obviously don't know the feeling that Brandon Graham has because I never played in the NFL, Johnny. But I would walk off as a champion. Here was BG mic'd up to Jalen Hurts, telling the people to get off his back.
Yeah! Boy, I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Let them know. Let the boys know, man. Tell them get off your back. Let's go.
I love that, man.
And you know what it is? And I said it last week. I got some grief from some people last week for saying it. But I didn't want Brandon Graham back for the game if he was just going to be along for the ride. And I didn't know what kind of physical condition he'd be in.
Right, yeah.
I said if they're just putting him out there to be the mascot, it would almost disappoint me. Brandon Graham had 3 plays that I noticed him making a true, tangible difference that led to positive plays for the Eagles defense, including the last touchdown where the first touchdown for the Chiefs where he is completely held. He's completely being held.
Yeah.
And to me, that made me smile the most for Brandon Graham.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't know how the hell he worked himself back into. I don't know how that happened. But I didn't want him to be out there just to be.
No, I
just
totally
to give him just to put a jersey on and get a few snaps. He was impactful.
No, he was impactful.
And if that's the last game of his career, that's damn good on you. And I put him ahead of our own Brendan Gunn.
I'll tell you what, our own Brendan Gunn could have been out there wearing the 55 jersey, and the Eagles would have won that game.
That's a good point.
I don't think our own Brandon Gunn would have made the same impact.
Yeah,
though.
BG did have some good
He
plays.
had an impact, but you beat the brakes off of them.
But you know what though is that they had to hold Brandon Graham on 2 different plays.
Yeah.
There's visible holds. One was for I forget which game it was. One was on a I can't remember. It was on one of the sacks. He was being held before the sack.
Yeah.
And then there was the one on the first touchdown. They're holding Brandon Graham. I'm like, okay, that man showed up to play.
He did.
And somehow got himself back.
Well,
which is
I'm sure
awesome.
Adrenaline kicked in a little bit.
Yeah, but that's so awesome. Because
he's probably really sore.
We saw him the night of, leading up to the Super Bowl, and he looked good. And he had that big, dumb smile on his face that he always has.
The beautiful smile.
He always
Johnny.
has that smile. He just always has it.
All right, so
Thank you, 97.5.
I got to ask.
Thank you,
And maybe
Brandon
this is
Graham.
more so a question for Connor because you're already looking ahead.
I am.
I'm still basking in the glory of the Super Bowl.
Okay. Good.
But you've sent us schedule topics. You're already, and I totally understand the offensive coordinator concerns because I too would like a experienced OC. Somebody that's called plays
big
before.
time want one, yes.
Respectfully to Kevin Patullo, who might be great. I don't know. I don't want to run that risk. But I'm still good. And you're looking ahead. So Connor, when does that time come for you?
I don't know. I'm not there yet. It'll be
So you're absolutely not there.
Remotely, dude. Not even close. I don't care who the Eagles play next year. I don't care who coaches this offense next year. I care that they're Super Bowl champions.
You will care,
I will.
But not yet. Yeah.
But, we haven't even hit the parade yet.
I got you, though. But these are things we have to – these are things that you still have to
We'll have all the time in the world to get there.
I saw somebody on social media already do a mock draft for the Eagles. And I don't I can't.
Was it to check out?
I don't know who it was. I think it was just an Eagles fan
That's
that did
a little
mock
much
draft.
for me.
I can't do that. But, the combine's in a couple weeks. So, we're getting to that point where the draft's in April, right?
So
2 months from now is the NFL draft, but I'm not even thinking about it.
Here's the assumed timeline for me, all right? This week is the victory tour, everybody who doubted type of week until the parade. The parade is the final big celebration. And then next week is going to be the kind of, reflect on what this past, 7-8 days has been and everything. I think at the end of next week will be the time where I start to turn my attention to, okay, what's next for the team? What do they have to do? What is the fallout? But it'll still be a while for me.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. I'm ahead of you on that, but I just have to look and go.
You were ahead of us on Tuesday.
I have to look at it and say, hey, and I'll enjoy every minute. Tomorrow, I said tonight, I said to Andrew, I don't think I'm going to sleep well tonight. I'm going to be I'm so excited.
Dude, so
I am so excited for this event tomorrow because I've dreamt it in my head for so long, and it's happening.
I'm going to have zero jitters, or like, not jitters, but you get it. Like,
No, the
I'm
anxiousness?
going to sleep soundly tonight.
Oh, my
You and me
gosh.
both, buddy.
You will too?
But John, like all morning, he's been saying, "Oh my God, I don't know
But
how
wait
I'm
a
gonna
minute.
sleep."
You went to the last one.
I didn't get there till the end.
You went to
because
the
I was
la-
here.
but you
I was
went
there
to
the whole time.
You went to the last one.
Yeah.
You went to the last one.
You did not.
I did not. And I was so bummed that I had something keep me from doing it because of the change of days. I've waited for this day my whole life. I cannot wait.
And you're going to get it.
I
And that's
cannot
beautiful.
wait.
So I understand
Oh.
that's probably, maybe
It's
that's
gonna
true
be
because
amazing.
I've experienced
It's going to
it
be
already.
amazing.
I
I didn't see the 08.
I did.
It was Georgia-Florida weekend, which in when I was in Atlanta, that's Georgia-Florida weekend is the cocktail party, big shows down in Jacksonville every year. And I'm watching the Phillies parade in the bar at the hotel.
Yeah.
And just with tears in my eyes. Like not tears crying, but like just, are you freaking kidding me?
Now, I will tell you, and Connor, I wonder what your opinion is on this. I was in the stadium for the Phillies parade because my dad had the 17 game plan. So I'm glad that I had that experience more so than watching a float go by.
Yeah, I was on Broad for that one, and I was like, we were younger, so it's not the same type of experience as now. Like, I obviously wasn't drinking as a freshman in high school or anything like that, but
What?
it was cool to see. Like,
I was able to watch the parade.
I was 14.
I was able
not
to watch
drinking.
the parade on the big screen, and then the world bleeping champions, all those
that
speeches.
was
Like
the place to be for that.
I'm happy that I experienced it that way more so than being on the street.
I think Lincoln Financial, I personally think it should be the opposite way.
I agree with you.
I think it should end at Lincoln Financial Field.
Yeah, I understand why.
I mean,
your
to
argument.
me, it allows more people to have great views. It's safer.
80,000 people.
It's safer. It's like, to me, I don't understand why they're doing it that way.
It is a cool backdrop, though.
It is,
It
but
is a really
no, it
cool
is.
backdrop.
But that could be the beginning. You could have a rally there
Right,
to
right.
start it out.
And make your way over.
And then
Well,
make
we're
the
getting
way
like
down
3
the other.
more in the next 5 years, so
Oh,
we can
that's
just
good.
flip
We can
back
figure
and
that
forth.
out. That's good
Even
work
years,
by you.
it's art museum. Odd years, it's
There you go.
or I
Because
guess
the Eagles,
it's the other way.
because
for
the
it.
Eagles could be a dynasty. Coming up next, our man Kevin
Will be.
Negandhi joins. I got crap for saying could. Now you're saying will.
I'm messing with you.
Meanwhile, John, you're Mr. Speaking into existence, so you should be on my level here about dynasty. Am I not wrong?
No.
You are
I'll talk
Mr.
about-
Speaking into
No,
existence.
but I will talk about how about this? Repeat. You want
All
to
right.
talk about repeat?
Sounds
I'll
good.
talk that into existence.
All right, Kevin Negandhi joins us coming up next. Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Tomorrow's the big day, folks. It's parade day. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Eagles are champions of the football world, in case you haven't heard. Well, we're going to be saying that for a long time, but tomorrow's the big celebration. Valentine's Day and parade day here in the city of brotherly love. There's a lot of love going around for the Eagles right now, and ESPN's Adam Schefter joined us yesterday to talk about no one can take away this accomplishment from them.
They're champions for the rest of their life. You never can take that away from them, ever. This was the most dominant team that the Eagles have had, easily. And it worked out really well for them, and they were impressive.
So rest up, Philadelphia. Make sure you hydrate, take care of yourself. We got a big, long day tomorrow with the parade taking place. It starts at 11 a.m. down at the sports complexes. It will follow the same route as the last time the Eagles won the Super Bowl. It will end with speeches at the Art Museum at around 2 p.m. The Sixers fell to the Nets 196 last night to round out their pre-All-Star break portion of the schedule. They're off now until the 20th as the NBA All-Star Game festivities take place this weekend out in the Bay in Cali. Sixers have no representatives in this one. Kevin Negandhi will join us coming up next. This update's brought to you by Jackson Hewitt. It matters who does your taxes. Want an expert tax prep? Jackson Hewitt will give you $100 to switch. Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Bill Colarulo.
Once again, Jalen Hurts outplayed Patrick.
Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic on this championship Thursday morning. And we're going to be joined by our man Kevin Negandhi momentarily from ESPN. You're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. I finally got to meet Kevin in person.
I still can't get over that.
It's the beauty of radio. You can talk to somebody for 5-6 years on a weekly basis and never meet them. And so finally, last week on Radio Row, I finally got to meet Kevin in person, which was really cool. And I love that he told us he was heading home for the Super Bowl to watch the game with his boys. And I imagine he had a great time on Sunday. So let's talk to him from ESPN and Philadelphia's own Kevin Negandhi. Kevin, happy Super Bowl Thursday. Champions.
Yeah, amazing. I'm still recovering. I smell like I was at the game still, and like I smoked a pack of Marlboros and Newports. It's been a great week. Still recovering with my voice. I've actually worked a handful of shows and interviewed Jalen Hurts a couple of days ago, Cooper DeJean a couple of days ago. It's been great.
Oh, yeah, we've played some of the audio on the show, so we'll talk about that. But I want to get your firsthand account first. You had the opportunity to stay in New Orleans if you wanted to for the Super Bowl. You wanted to go home with your boys. What was it like at the Negandhi household on Sunday?
Chunas, I appreciate you asking. It was amazing. I had a lot of people offer me tickets, and a lot of people, very lucky. I've had a lot of people ask me, why didn't you stay? And we all had that connection, I think, to somebody in our family, a brother, a dad, mom, a cousin, or an uncle, or, just your buddies. And that I wanted to make sure, living in Connecticut, we've established that with our boys. I wanted to make sure that continued. And I was sitting there, and my brother came from Phoenixville and came to Connecticut and watched the game with us. And I looked at my wife, and she's a Floridian. But I looked at my wife and I said, this is the first Super Bowl with the Eagles that I'm not there. Now, I'm not talking about 1981. I was 5 years old. I was there in 2006. I was there in 2018. And, of course, 2023, I took the whole family. So it was cool to just be home. I didn't know what to do with myself all day.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, we had a lot of food. We had a blast. Did not invite anybody over except our internal family, and it was amazing, man. Now, I got to tell you, when you have a 12 and 10-year-old, I made sure at 5:45 I told them no screens at 6:30 when you're downstairs. I don't want to hear it. We're not looking at your iPad. You're not looking at your phone.
No, it's game and game only.
And they were locked in. We took a halftime break for them. They enjoyed the halftime show. We all watched, but they were on their screens and talking to their buddies. And then a small little thing around, like, somewhere in the third quarter, some of their friends were, like, congratulating them. And I was like, do not respond. The game is not over. And they were like, but, Dad. I'm like, absolutely not. We will not talk trash to anybody until we start seeing somebody kneel. We will not respond.
Kevin, Connor and I did a watch party on South Street at a bar called Patty Wax. Great spot. And in the third quarter, people started walking out already to make their way to Broad Street.
See, I can't imagine you're walking out on a game.
No. Hell no.
Right.
No, not at all. The time I felt most comfortable, obviously, when Kenny Pickett's in the game, but, like, when the starters are in the game, is that first drive in the third quarter for the Eagles. I told the boys when they got the ball, I said, it's 24-0. If we take 5 to 6 minutes off the clock and score, whether either it's a field goal or a touchdown, we won the game. That's when I could feel decent. But it's Patrick Mahomes. And to see the way that team dominated the entire 4 quarters, don't bring up the 22 points. It was 40-6. The game was 40-6, and everybody in Philadelphia knows that.
Kev, I sent a note to my daughter, her 21, saw an Eagles championship when she was in 8th grade on Sunday, and I said, you were so worried about me getting the title the first time. This one's for you. This one's for you. Because a lot of it was, I was thinking about my dad, my uncles who had passed, all the people who had never gotten to see the Eagles win a championship. But this one was for the living. I sort of felt like this one was for people who were actually living through it so they could just celebrate it for themselves.
John, really well said. I think that 2018 experience was generational, and it was like, hey, we could put a lot of pain to bed here for a lot of dads, grandparents, and stuff like that, right? This was, and during the game after that first half, I looked at the boys and I said, that first half doesn't get any better than this. And at the end of the game, I told them, for the rest of your life, as a Philadelphia sports fan, you will be comparing this game and this team to every good team in Philadelphia. The same way I compare the 83 Sixers to every good team. Right? Because I was 8 years old. My boys are 12 and 10. I said, it does not get any better than this. Every single benchmark is established from here on out in Philadelphia sports history.
So, Kevin, off of that, our topic today, main topic to start the show, was how do you balance legendary status while still having active players? If you go back to Super Bowl 52, Nick Foles was here for another cup of coffee, but he was done. A lot of players retired, or a lot of players were done after maybe 1 or 2 more years. This team is young. Jalen Hurts is 26. Nick Sirianni's 43 as the head coach. He's not going anywhere. Cooper DeJean just turned 22. How do you balance these guys that became legends overnight but are still active players? So that next year, if there's a bad game, you still got to be critical of them.
Tunis, just don't trade Cliff Lee. That's my advice.
Yeah.
Because that's the only comparison, right? Like, that's the only comparison that we can feel. Because when they won in 08, they were still trending up, and they were built from the organization side, right? It was like, let's add 1 or 2 guys, but it was really the core of the guys that came through the farm system, and that's what the Eagles are. It's all core guys, right? They built through the system through amazing drafts. You could still be critical, but I also think that the expectations are give some benefit of the doubt, and that's something I don't think Jalen Hurts has had, and I think he's earned that. I think the head coach has earned that, and benefit of the doubt is, I think, a conversation that we should continue to have when discussing this Eagles team down the road. Now, I mean, like, if they get embarrassed, I think, yeah, you got to be critical. But there is a honeymoon period that I think Eagles fans should rejoice, and Eagles players should. They've earned that. They've earned a little honeymoon period, right? So it just depends on what we're criticizing if we're upset with something. But right now, my glasses are seeing green, and it's a great thing, and we're going to lean into that for the next 6 months.
Sure.
And there's hope. But it's amazing. I'm surrounded by people who are not Eagles fans, who are national media, and I've been hit multiple times this week. They're like, "You guys are set." I'm like, "What? You guys are set?" And then immediately I'm like, well, the Lions had 15 dudes that were injured.
Yes.
Did you forget that? The Commanders are coming with Jaden Daniels. Did you forget that? Let's not forget where the 49ers were. And they're like, stop. I'm like, no, we understand that the NFC is going to be tough. The schedule is going to be absolutely brutal considering who they're scheduled to play in what division. But, man, at the same time, one thing we got another ring, and those franchises would love to switch spots with all of us and those fan bases. So let's lean into it and enjoy it.
Kevin, if I said to you, I bump into you 8 years from now, and I say, what's your fondest memory of the championship season? Is it going to be an event from the past Sunday, or is it going to be something that happened during the course of the season that will jump to mind as being most memorable?
Wow. I think Saquon going backwards in the Jacksonville game.
Yeah.
Saquon's just season in general would probably
Saquon
dominate.
in the snow, maybe?
Yeah, Saquon in the snow. The Jalen Carter game against the Rams, because if we don't have the Jalen Carter game, we don't get there.
No.
But to me, I think it's the dominant defense of what they did in that first half against the Chiefs. I've never seen. It's the greatest first half in Eagles history.
It was the greatest first half in Super Bowl history, too, by the way.
How wild is that, John?
That's amazing.
You and I grew up with Buddy Ryan's defense and Bud Carson's defense, and we saw the body bag game. We saw the House of Pain game. We saw them destroy Troy Aikman his rookie season, and I never thought that an Eagles defense could be more dominant in my lifetime. That first half, no one was more dominant on the planet than that front four.
It was unbelievable.
0 blitzes, man. Just the front
what's
four.
What's weird, guys, here's the weird thing, though, is we cannot – there's some sadness to it, too. We can't celebrate with BG because I think that BG walking into the sunset is incredible, right? So, like, next season, BG will look like an elder statesman, which he should be, and he's Eagles royalty. Josh Sweat's going to get a payday, and it's probably going to be somewhere else. Milton Williams is going to get a payday, and it's probably going to be somewhere else. So some of those guys that you want to enjoy with, you won't get the chance to, but at the same time, we still got Jalen Carter.
Yes, we do.
And that changes the defensive line.
And Nolan Smith, who honestly this year, Nolan Smith, honestly, when Hassan Reddick decided to quit on his team, Nolan Smith saved that position group.
Sure did.
And took it to a whole new level.
Incredible what Nolan Smith did in the final, 8 games. And my 12-year-old's just yelling at me across the room because we're on a 2-hour delay saying I forgot Nolan Smith. So he's holding me accountable.
That's good work.
See?
Hey, you're raising him well, Kevin. That's great work, man.
Correct your father.
Enjoy the rest of your 2-hour delay, Kevin. We'll talk to you next week and have fun with the parade tomorrow, man.
Hey, go Birds!
Thanks a lot, buddy.
Birds. There he is, Kevin Negandhi on the Comcast Business Hotline. I hit the wrong button.
What was that?
I turned my mic
I
off
thought you
instead of hanging up on Kevin.
I thought you had a hiccup.
It's been a long week for all of us.
Listen, dude,
Isn't it wonderful?
Trust me, I'm still catching up.
Isn't it a wonderful week?
It is a wonderful week.
I mean, it really is. It's a wonderful week.
I love the lack of sleep that I've gotten over the last 2 weeks. Love it.
DJ is suggesting that maybe you could supply a gummy that would help me sleep tonight. I'm like, hell no. I'm not venturing into that realm.
I'm just telling you, man, whenever you need it.
I'm not venturing into that realm.
You got to hook up, dude.
No. I need to wake up tomorrow morning, and I need to know. No, and I need to know how I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning.
Rested.
Let's just put it that way.
Dude,
I know I'm going to be pacing the floors.
Help me out last night
more
again.
For us, Salciunas.
Yeah, more for us. All right.
There you go.
It is Kincade Salciunas on this Championship Thursday. We've been talking to a lot of people recently, so we'll reset our topics coming up next, and also a nice way to celebrate the Eagles Super Bowl. We'll tell you how next is Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Tyrone Johnson.
Nick Sirianni clearly had the guys on the razor's edge ready to go out there, whether it was Jalen Hurts, whether it was Vic Fangio.
Kincade Salciunas is presented to you by The Bagster. It's a dumpster in a bag. You can get yours today at Home Depot and Lowe's. You need details? Go to Bagster.com.
It is Championship Thursday here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Coming up in a few minutes, we'll tell you how you can enjoy the Super Bowl victory even more with a nice commemorative football. But before we do that, John, you and I had a blast last week.
In New Orleans.
In New Orleans, Radio Row was a lot of fun. But what was also really cool was when we were leaving, because a lot of people were there like Sunday to Sunday.
Sure.
But a lot of people were coming in on Friday because they didn't want to take a whole week off of work.
Absolutely.
Obviously, expenses, you name it. So as we are about to leave, a lot of people were landing. Eagles fans from all over the place, not just the Philadelphia area. We met our man Bryce from Colorado in the airport. What's up, Bryce?
What's up, Andrew? What's up, John? Let's go Birds, baby.
Oh, that's awesome.
Dude, how was it, man? It was so cool seeing you, talking to you in person on Friday of last week, and then, of course, you were able to go to the game. How awesome was it?
Yeah, dude, it was unbelievable. I went down with my dad, my brother. I was listening to you guys on the plane ride. I get off the plane and call my brother, and you're the first person to throw me a Go Birds in New Orleans. And I'm like, what the hell, Andrew? What's up, dude?
Go Birds.
That was so awesome. That was so awesome. It was perfect. A perfect event.
First of many Go Birds I received that weekend. But anyway, the game, we're sitting there and, the AJ call happens, and we're nervous. And then the Coop pick six happens. And our sideline goes insane, and I'm looking at the Chiefs sideline, and they look like NPC, old video game audience, not moving.
Yeah, dude, they were just dead, man.
They were deflated.
The player, not just the Chiefs fans, the players were deflated.
I was looking at their sideline, and it was just like statues. It was insane.
They're front runners. They were They were exposed as when they're ahead or they're in a tight game, they're lethal.
But when they
got punched in the mouth a couple times, they folded like a cheap suit.
Yeah, once when I won a 17 zip, I saw that sideline. That's when I started crying.
That was awesome. I'm glad you cried, and I'm glad your dad and you got to experience that and your rest of your family.
Yeah, it's really cool, Bryce.
Nice, thanks
man,
for listening,
it
Bryce.
was nice meeting you, man. And, so cool of you for listening. I'm glad we were able to catch up at the airport.
That was so weird.
One last thing. EAGLES. Eagles.
You're
there
the man,
we go,
Bryce.
dude.
Thanks, brother.
Thanks,
we appreciate it. How about that? He's listening on the plane. He downloads the Wi-Fi on his flight.
Listening to us.
And then bang, there we are.
There we are.
It's really cool. All right, let's
After
head to
some good barbecued shrimp in the airport.
Dude, that was actually really good. I was surprised.
It was really good.
Airport foods hit or miss.
That was not hit or miss at all.
That was good work.
Delicious.
All right, let's head to the Comcast Business Hotline. Every day in business, big day like Comcast Business. Help me move forward with what's next. How can we continue to remember Super Bowl 59? How about from Nyko Sports? Our man Bob can tell us about the commemorative football. What's up, Bob?
Hi, Bob.
Hey, John and Andrew, I've been listening to you here. You know, I'm in the Chicago area, but my heart's in Philly these days because I worked there for many years, and I can't. I was listening to you this morning. I heard this one gentleman say, how great of a runner Saquon is, and it just gave me chills because when I covered the NFL back in the late, I should say throughout most of the 70s, I saw guys like Peyton, Jimmy Brown, just a little bit before him, Gale Sayers. Saquon reminds me so much of those three runners. I mean, he has all their skills combined into those legs of his. It's amazing, and I'm so happy on this football that we'll be talking about. His photograph is going to be on one of the panels. Let me explain, because he'll be right next to Jalen Hurts on the third panel of this football. We're down in the red zone. We're probably down in the last 1,000 of these 5,000 limited edition footballs that are being sold to raise monies for a great, great charity there, the Eagles Autism Foundation. We're going to raise thousands of dollars for them. They're priced at $129.95. If you haven't got your souvenir yet, you're going to want to not miss out on this because this is historic. It's a full-size football, fully licensed. It's a limited edition to only 5,000. We have probably just a little less than 1,000 left, and a portion of the proceeds will go to the Eagles Autism Foundation. You'll get an individually numbered certificate of authenticity, and in a moment I'll tell you how you can order this, but I do encourage people, do it soon, because I know by the end of the parade tomorrow, they'll all be gone. It makes also a great Valentine's Day gift, and I'll explain how. On the top panel of the ball, you'll have the Super Bowl 59 logo in Roman numerals, stadium history, championship history for the Eagles, gone all the way back to when they won their first title in 1948. Second panel lays out the entire season schedule with opponents, dates, scores, all that information that you'll want to remember from years from now and how this happened. And then at that third panel, we've got an action image of Jalen Hurts, who was the MVP, his stats, right next to Barkley and his stats for this year. So this football really sums up the entire season and that big 40-22 victory over the stunned KC Chiefs.
Yep. And it's a beautiful, beautiful football. I mean, it looks sharp. So where can we go to get this, Bob?
Okay, there's two ways. You can call 800-345-2868. That's 800-345-2868. Or if you can't get through the phone lines, because every time we've talked to you, the phone lines just lit up, go right to the website, NICOsports.com, NIKCOsports.com. That's NIKCOsports.com, or 800-345-2868. $129.95 will get you this. You'll get a certificate of authenticity. And when you go to the website, guys, if you're looking for a Valentine's Day gift for that loved one, you can download instantly a photograph of the football. It'll come out on a flyer, and you can give it to that person tomorrow on Valentine's Day, and you're going to save a lot of hearts.
Damn right. That's good work, Bob. Good insight.
You, Bob.
And another beautiful football, man. Another beautiful time. And again, part of the proceeds going to the Eagles Autism Foundation, which we really appreciate as well. Bob, thanks for the time as always, man. Go Birds.
Go Birds, and thanks again. Enjoy that parade tomorrow.
Thank you, buddy.
We sure will. Thanks. There he is, Bob Iback from Nico Sports. Now, it's a pro move to buy the football as the Valentine's Day gift.
I think it's cool.
Because A, your significant other is thrilled that they're getting it, and then B, when it does come in, it's almost like an added day.
Yes.
It's like how for Christy's 30th birthday,
okay,
I surprised her with the trip to Jamaica.
Right.
Which was Valentine's Day week. I took care of both.
Yeah, you did.
With one gift.
What if there had been a parade?
I picked it the week after the Super Bowl.
You did?
No, trust me. I made sure that we were not going to be there during parade week. Don't you? Come on, man. You know me.
Sure,
I already
know
gave my vacation days for September the other day. It is Kincade Salciunas coming up next. You'll hear more from the NFL Films mic'd up. Here's Sirianni, here's Dallas Goedert, and Jalen Hurts here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
No one can take it away. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Philadelphia Eagles are still world champions of football. We're going to be saying that for a long time here in Philly. ESPN's Adam Schefter joined us yesterday on Kincade Salciunas and talked about how no one can take away that accomplishment from them.
They're champions for the rest of their life. You never can take that away from them, ever. This was the most dominant team that the Eagles have had, easily. And it worked out really well for them, and they were impressive.
Now, after the championship comes the parade. So whatever you do tonight, Philly, make sure you're resting up and hydrating. Tomorrow is the big celebration. Parade will start at 11 a.m. from down at the sports complex. They follow the same route as they did back in 2018, and it will end with speeches at the Art Museum around 2 p.m. The Sixers fell to the Nets 196 last night, the last game before the All-Star break. They're off until the 20th. The NBA All-Star game will take place this weekend out in the Bay. Sixers have no representatives. This update was brought to you by Groundworks, your expert for basement waterproofing and foundation repair since 1997. Book your free inspection at groundworks.com. And also by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, the original triple distilled, triple blended, and triple cask matured Irish whiskey. When it's game time, it's Tully time. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Vacation? Business trip? Don't worry. You can still...
on Kincade and
Every
Salciunas.
time you say it, I smile.
As you should.
Every time you say it.
And tomorrow is parade day, so make sure you're listening beginning at 6 o'clock with us as we broadcast live from the Cambria Hotel, Philadelphia.
Very good, dude.
2019 South Broad Street.
You're growing up right in front of my eyes.
Thank you very much. We will be on at 6. Connor will be with us as well. And then the Mike Missanelli show with Bill and Ray begins at 10 o'clock from the same location. Our man, does Casey have a nickname from Peter and Stan?
Who, Carter?
Oh, Carter.
Carter from the Peter and Stan show? He came over here.
He came by.
He's a proud O'Hara grad, too.
He showed us the setup.
And
it
looks
beautiful. We can't wait for it.
Can't wait. Looking forward to it.
And then make sure you listen to the best show ever, as you should every single day. But they're going to be on the road. 2 o'clock, they'll be at Pagano's Market and Bar in Commerce Square in Market Street in Center City. That's where I hung out after the parade back in 2018, and it was a joyous occasion.
But I heard
the
it's
free
like
Bud Lights
crazy.
helped. Yeah,
like it's you're in with the crazy fans.
But the free Bud Lights helped.
Yeah, it didn't hurt.
That didn't hurt at all. And all of this is being presented to us by John. Your turn. Give us a Foreman Mills.
Foreman Mills.
That was better than Connor's.
That's
Okay.
how I always remember it.
All right. I see whose corner you're in.
Foreman Mills.
All right, Salciunas.
His was a little throatier. You just kind of like, I didn't feel the passion when you did that. Foreman Mills.
Gosh,
I didn't feel your passion.
I honestly think the amount of and one of my buddies said we went up to Foreman Mills multiple times together.
I think that's what it is. You and I. Have you ever shopped at Foreman Mills?
Yes, I've shopped at Foreman Mills.
Because
I've lived in this area for like 30 years.
It's just like we made numerous trips up there when at different parts of our life when money's tighter and you put things together. It was outstanding.
When I was here, I needed dress pants.
Loved it
because we used to have a dress code kind of here at the station. Not too much, but I bought some dress pants and they worked. Foreman Mills, big fan. All right, so NFL Films did the mic'd up viewing yesterday, which was really we haven't had a chance to watch yet. I can't wait to watch it. I just saw the clips on social media, and they're beautiful. I mean, NFL Films does a great job within itself, but obviously it's our team, the Philadelphia Eagles, winning Super Bowl 59. So I want to play a couple more clips for you that our man Brendan Gunn was able to run down. So Nick Sirianni.
Yes.
We played you the clip from Jalen Hurts, which was awesome, with Saquon Barkley saying that you were the final piece. Nick Sirianni had a similar message for the star running back. Here was Barkley and Nick Sirianni after the game.
I'm proud of you, man. Come on, man.
Man, we can't be great without the greatness of others. We need you. I told you, you changed this team. You changed this team. You, all right? You're special, man. You are special. Thanks. Not the player. I didn't care about the player. You're a special leader, all right?
That's great.
Oh, that's great.
And the leadership, I remember, I believe it was Andrew DeCecco right away, and Bill, to Bill's credit, doing the research that Saquon was looked at as one of the leaders of the Giants. Like, we look at him as the great running back.
Sure.
But if you talk to players within the Giants organization, and you saw it when they played each other, the respect that they had for him, that carried over here.
That just choked me up.
Good.
That's great. That is great.
I want you to cry by the
Oh my
time
gosh,
we get out
that's
of here.
great.
I know you're going to cry tomorrow. Are you going to bring the Kleenex tomorrow?
No, just wipe it right on the sleeve.
Okay, at least
hopefully I don't get the runny nose.
Sleeve. All right, Dallas Goedert and Jalen Carter. Now again, there's a mentality that this team has, and I love it. But at the same time, I want them to try to enjoy it because I feel like the AJ Brown. It was like, yeah, I'm fired up, but at the same time, I was kind of sad. Like, I want A.J. Brown to enjoy the Super Bowl a little bit. Like, you just won. He was like, yeah, that lasted 2 days. I want more. I totally get it. I love that energy, but at the same time, like, have some fun. And I imagine tomorrow there's going to be an overcome of emotion. Like, A.J. Brown's talking about how he's already over it. I imagine when he's on the float, seeing all those Eagles fans, that's going to change a little bit. I imagine yesterday when he saw the kid that was injured in the plane crash in the Northeast. I imagine that meant something to him as well. Here was Dallas Goedert and Jalen Carter right after the game ended saying, and we're not done yet.
Hey, one of like 4,000 people ever win this game. In the history books forever. And we're going to be one of them that wins it twice, too. So we ain't done. We ain't done. Not with you, man. You a problem.
You're a problem.
Dallas Goedert could be his last year.
Could be next year.
He says, not without you. You're a bleeping problem. I love that. And Jalen Carter is a problem, man. It's ridiculous.
By the way, I will share this because I now have gotten it from a couple people. A sleazy newspaper hit piece was trying to be written on Jalen Carter last week. And there were numerous feet on the ground trying to find a way to put a smear piece out on Jalen Carter leading up to the Super Bowl. I believe that may have had something to do with him being sick and not available to the media. I've heard it from a couple people of that they were lurking, trying to find a way to just have an embarrassing story on him in the week. And if the Eagles did protect him last week from that,
great work.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Absolutely.
Bunch of scumbags.
Yeah, definitely. People are, there are people that write. There is agendas.
There are vultures.
Still.
There are vultures. And you know what that is? It's activism, not journalism. That's not journalism. That's activism. The gotcha pieces, the whole 9 yards. And it's unbelievable. And if they did protect him last week from it, good for you, birds.
All right, one more I want to play for you. Jalen Hurts, we have just noticed more and more how he is becoming a true leader and the ultimate teammate that he is with the Philadelphia Eagles. He was told that he was Super Bowl MVP. Oh. Take a listen to his answer.
Hey, Super Bowl MVP. Super Bowl champ.
He just said Super Bowl champ because it's not about him.
Yeah.
He said, I'm a Super Bowl champ. I love that, right? Like, look, there's probably part of him, I imagine, that's like, wow, I won Super Bowl MVP. I think when he's like inside his own house and it's just him and his beautiful fiance, right? Like, I imagine there is some human element to Jalen Hurts realizing, holy crap, I just won Super Bowl MVP. I dreamt of this as a kid, right?
Yes.
But in the moment, that's his immediate answer. Like, think about it.
I think he's a master deflector of deflecting praise, deflecting all that.
But he deflected immediately. Like, that wasn't even like, it's not like he was at a podium and somebody was asking him a question. He's like, all right, how can I try to turn this into my team?
I wonder if he actually knew what was being said to him. Like, he understood that he was being told, you're the MVP.
Maybe.
Or if he just said, he thought it was just a compliment.
I think that's just him right away.
No, I do
saying,
too.
Super Bowl champ.
I think his father programmed him.
Yeah.
Then Nick Saban programmed him. I mean, he's more programmed than Andrew DiCecco.
Yes.
And that's saying something.
It's our man, Andrew DiCecco.
Because DiCecco has like a motherboard that honestly,
he is amazing, man. All football all the time.
He is.
Him and Jalen Hurts could be best friends.
Oh, gosh, they could be best buddies.
It would be great. Even though I have said I don't think I'd ever want to have a beer with Jalen Hurts. I'd want to shake his hand. I don't know if Jalen's fun to hang out with.
I don't think he'd be a lot of fun to hang out with. He'd probably find us annoying.
But I hung out with Andrew DiCecco and had plenty of beers with him.
Oh, yes.
And it was a good time. So maybe it would be fun to have a beer with Jalen Hurts. Who knows? All right, coming up next, our key three. Dude, you suck.
Today I do. I've missed every shot.
John's missed all shots into the trash can today. I'm Dikembe Mutombo over here scooping up boards. It's Kincade and Salciunas.
No.
97.5 The Fanatic.
Mike Missanelli.
The best Philly sports victory of all time.
Thursday here on Kincade Salciunas 97.5. The Fanatic, we got the Key 3 coming up momentarily, but I do want to check our text line and calls, Johnny.
Can it be championship spring and summer, too?
Yes, up until week 1.
Okay.
I think that's
This has really been fun.
I think that's fair.
It'd be really fun.
What have the people been saying, Connor? Because we've obviously gone away from the text line and the calls for a while because we had Kevin Negandhi, we had our man Bob I back, we had the NFL Films audio that we've been playing. Obviously, today we got into a discussion about the legendary status that these Eagles players have cemented themselves in. However, they're young. So how do we balance legends while also still having expectations and wanting more? Because I know how soft a lot of people got the last time. You know, how do we hold certain players accountable when they have become legends at such a young age? It's not Fletcher Cox, who's got 1 year left, or Jason Kelce, who's got 1 year left. It's Jalen Hurts, who's 26. He's still got a lot of time here in Philadelphia. Also, the Jason Kelce reaction. There are people annoyed by it. There are people that are straight up angry about it. And then there's people like me that I see where he's coming from, and I don't care.
Right.
And I know this is a job about having opinions.
Sure.
And I guess that's my opinion is I don't care. It didn't bother me. I guess I understand where people are coming from, but I totally understand where he's coming from. I mean, it's his brother. And I will say it again. If they were down a score, or let's say my prediction came true, Jake Elliott hits the game-winning field goal, I bet you Jason Kelce is jumping up and down for Jake.
Yes.
And then gives Travis a big hug in tears. Sorry that you lost.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's the way it goes with his family, though. Remember, he's with his family. He's with mom and dad and everybody. Everybody in that booth was not rooting for the Eagles.
Right.
So he's the only one.
But I
don't know that he would have been jumping up and down amongst his family and everything.
Come on, Jake.
Yes, no.
Jake.
In his head, he may have been, but I don't think he would have been jumping up and down or anything like that.
If Travis Kelce, let's say this.
And I don't think Travis would give a damn.
Let's say Travis Kelce in the same score, right? They get blown out. But it's the bend but don't break defense.
Yes.
But Trav finishes with 8 catches for 112 yards and 1 touchdown.
That would have been the best case scenario.
Jason's probably like,
your brother balled out.
You played a hell of a game. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
But it was a beatdown, and his brother was, I'm not going to say embarrassed on the national stage, but he had a horrible game.
Terrible.
And it's talked about, and he's now such a big figure that it's not just about sports anymore with Travis Kelce.
No.
Right? So
it's about that business that they have.
Maybe that's what added to the emotion. What are the people saying on the text line, Connor?
Brady from Norristown checks in, and I love this text. He says, going forward, when talking in conversations with people about the Eagles winning the Super Bowl, you'll be asked to clarify which one. Something 10 years ago I never thought I'd experience.
I never thought about that.
That's a great one, actually. Yeah.
Where were you when the Eagles won the Super Bowl? Which one? That is.
I don't know. I've lost track.
That's a nice thought. That's a nice thought.
You know what? But the beauty is they're both so recent that I can remember exactly because I couldn't imagine that a Cowboys fan could remember where they were.
No, 30 years ago?
Yeah,
I still can't. Their
time.
mother's womb? I don't know. I still can't fathom that the Eagles organization in, 1938 or whatever it was? I don't know, whenever it started. It was the best game the franchise has ever played was played in the Super Bowl. Because I truly believe, I know it was statistically, it was the best defensive half that has ever been played in a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And to me, to think that the team played its best game on the biggest stage against that opponent, that opposing coach, the history on the line on the other side, to me, that's what's unfathomable about all this.
Yeah.
It's the storyline that I never thought would happen. I thought the Eagles were going to win, never blinked, never had any lack of confidence. But that, no way.
Greatest game in Eagles franchise history. Nobody expected that. Yeah, nobody expected that.
And I love the fact, too, I shouldn't say.
And even Jake, by the way, was banging field goals. So we all
most
three
points by a kicker in Super Bowl history.
All three
Is it
facets
really?
of the
Yes,
game.
16 points on the leg of Jake Elliott. He was fine the whole time.
And even the Scribinis getting into the game, and even though they failed miserably when they got in, it was still nice of Nick Sirianni to say, I'm going to make sure guys are on the play sheet.
I love that Kenny Pickett took a snap for his favorite team growing up.
I think that's and again, that's another one. That's a Sirianni thing.
Yeah.
He's the one who makes that call.
Let's empty the bench.
And for him to say, empty the bench, let the players who decided the game have their moments on the sideline, but let these guys say, I played in a Super Bowl. I was on that field. I'm on the play sheet. That means a lot. And again, Nick Sirianni, a tip of the cap. That was so smart of him to do that.
It really was. What else we got, Connor?
All right, so a check-in here on the how do we treat these players. No name on this one, but they ask, how did we do it with the Phillies in 2008? This is the same scenario, and I know Kevin Negandhi brought that up, too, to you guys. So treat them like that 08 champion team.
Here's the thing. As years have gone by, there are people that still look back at that era not necessarily fondly because they thought they'd get more.
I think it was an era of money left on the table.
Right. So
absolutely.
So people look back at it and they go, oh, my God, how did they only win one? And, oh, by the way, how did they win with that one? Right? Hamels, Moyer.
I think the 09.
Myers.
I could tell you the 9, 10, and 11 teams were better than the 8 team.
11 was the best team in that stretch, and that was the team that they had the worst end.
Would you say 9, 10, 11 had more talent?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they didn't cash it in. But the 8 will always be just a fond memory.
Absolutely. But people were very critical of them. Right now, I think even more so because they look back at what could have been. So I don't know. Does it still hold up 10 years from now if you only win one?
No, I mean, I don't think it will. But, also, the crazy thing about this team and the whole expecting to do it, this is the first time in 40-some years that the team that it's like, oh, this is the best team in franchise history, they should win it, they should get the job done, actually does. 08, it wasn't this monster team. They were a great team for the Philadelphia Phillies, but they weren't this juggernaut that couldn't be stopped. 17, you do it with a backup quarterback against Tom Brady that no one thought had a chance. This year, we said the whole lead up to the game, they're incredible. They might be unstoppable. We expect them to win, and now seeing that, it's just that's the realization that when you see something in Philadelphia sports, you can believe it.
Yeah. I mean, look,
That's a good
now,
one.
and now all of a sudden we're saying this can still happen, and it can happen again. All right, let's get a call in here. Let's go to Tom in Bethlehem. What's up, Tommy?
Hey.
What are you up to, Tom?
Right there. Hey, fellow champions, what's up?
What's
Hey
up,
there, I love
fellow
that.
champ?
Hey, so anyway, check it out. It is so great, man. I know Saquon not personally, but I went to Liberty. I was one of the rivals in high school. And as I grew up here, I was in the Northampton area, and my 2 kids went to school at Northampton here, and they kind of know Barkley, and they were just chanting his name in the games, and just to see him make it here now, man, it's just so great. And we were actually down at Copley at the parade when he had a parade when he went for the Giants. And, at that time, we're like, well, you know what? I always thought in my mind at some point he's going to come home and be an Eagle. There it is.
Yeah.
Now he's got the Super Bowl also.
And I saw the videos from Happy Valley, on campus. They paraded out there like Broad Street.
Sure.
And there was a lot of 2-6, Penn State white, Penn State blue jerseys out there.
Yep, yes, sir. There were no Giants jerseys. They were all Penn State jerseys.
I love it.
But,
it was really cool.
I love seeing that.
Yeah, it was great, man. And like I said, I mean, just watching him, too. I took my kids a couple times to the games, especially when they played Liberty. It was like, I'm a Liberty Hurricane. I'm like, oh, boy, But seeing when he won that championship against us, I think it was a championship game. I forget what it was. But, he ran that thing and dove over the guys just like he did this year.
Yeah, just like he did this year, Tommy. Thanks for the call, man. We appreciate it. Connor and I I pointed it out to Connor. The day of the Commanders game.
Okay, well, the day of the Commanders.
The NFC Championship game.
NFC Championship game.
There was a guy wearing Saquon's high school jersey, Zephyrs.
Really?
But the problem was,
where'd he get it?
It was burgundy and gold.
Oh.
So a guy
not good.
Confronted him, and he goes, no, look. And it was Barkley, and it was his high school jersey, but it was burgundy and gold. So you thought this dude was a Commanders fan walking around.
I'd have to leave that one at home that day.
Unless, Connor said,
color scheme.
Connor said, unless that's his lucky jersey.
Unless he's been wearing it all year and he's just like, I can't.
Oh, the superstition thing.
Right. Yeah, you never know. All right, it's time now for the Kincade Salciunas Key 3 best minutes from today's show.
Now, the Kincade Salciunas Key 3, today's best.
And a good championship Thursday morning, Philadelphia. Mayor Salciunas alongside my man John Kincade, who is rocking, if you're watching on YouTube, just a beautiful Kelly Green old Eagle logo sweater. The big eagle on the front, man.
Girl gift.
So the Eagles winning the Super Bowl automatically puts you in legendary status, right?
Sure. You've only had one Super Bowl winning team.
Right. So you are now a legend for life. But this is what's going to be today to try to figure out the balance. So Jalen Hurts is how old, John?
26.
Nick Sirianni is 43.
You realize you're 5 years older than Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, tell me about it.
I mean, seriously, like it's mind-boggling.
Yeah. Now he acts 20 years older than me.
And that's shocking because you do act like older than me. So that shocks me.
So we have a 26-year-old franchise quarterback, a 43-year-old head coach who has had a ton of success in the NFL.
He absolutely has.
If you think back to the 2017-18 Philadelphia Eagles, the team that brought home the first Lombardi Trophy in the history of the franchise, you had a backup quarterback.
Yep.
You had a head coach that I think we thought would stick around for a long time, but that kind of quickly faded away within the next 2 years.
37-year-old left tackle?
A lot of one-year prove-it deals.
Right. I mean, like there was a lot
of veterans.
Right.
A lot of guys who either retired or left because they got paid, or you knew they would stick around for another year or two, but
the clock was
like
ticking.
Jay Ajayi, Darren Sproles. He stuck around for a couple more years. These guys are legends. Nick Foles would never have to buy another beer in the city again. We know that.
He's beloved.
How do we balance that legendary status with guys that will be here for another 5, 6, 10 years?
You rewrite your legends. In my mind, you then have to start to, if you get a storied franchise or a storied football program, you start to then, when you get guys with rings, then you have to start to sort of stack them to where they belong, because maybe a guy was a legend because of a year.
Right.
Or 2. Or, in the case of Nick Foles, 4 weeks.
Right.
Whereas now, you will actually have legends in a franchise that are more established for a career.
Right, and that's the
reputation.
Thing. Like Jalen Hurts is not done yet.
He's not done. He's 26.
He's not signing another contract with the Jags because he deserved it from winning the Super Bowl, and then you find out what he actually is. That was Nick Foles, right? He gets replaced by Gardner Minshew before his first season ended in Jacksonville.
Well, he got injured his first game.
Right.
Remember?
And then they brought him back, and he wasn't all that good. And I love you, Nick Foles, but he ended up being back to the quarterback. The clock struck midnight on the career of Nick Foles once he got to Jacksonville.
It did.
Jalen Hurts is going to be here for, we hope, another 10 years.
There's a difference between, in my mind, and we knew we were going to talk about this today. I was thinking about it. I've spent a lot of time in the car yesterday. And I'm thinking, there's a difference between legendary in a moment and legendary in a career. Nick Foles was legendary in a moment.
Yes.
He had a 2-week period, honestly, because he didn't play well in the Falcons. He didn't play well at the end of the regular season. That Raiders game, one of the worst games I've ever seen a pro quarterback play, and they still won. But to me, he was legendary in a clutch moment, 2-week period where it made everybody's jaw drop.
Yeah.
But we're going to now talk about legends that will establish a career. A.J. Brown has 3 years now. Devontae Smith has 4 years now. Now, Saquon Barkley, again, is going to have to do more than just this year.
Absolutely.
He'll always be a legend, but you don't want to be a legend for a season.
Right.
You want to be a legend for a career. I think this team is going to create tons of them.
All right, that is the Kincade Salciunas Key 3 best minutes from today's show. Real quick, because you got to get out of here, so you're not going to be able to do post-show headlines today. Connor,
I'll not do it today.
You're up, unless you have to leave.
Bring in the righty.
One of the topics, and of course you can watch our post-show headlines on YouTube,
and
subscribe.
we appreciate you checking it out.
And it's been a lot of fun because it's topics that we don't really get into on the air because we're not going to talk about Anthony Rendon today, the day before the parade.
No, we're not.
That dude's a disgrace to Major League Baseball. A disgrace.
Scumbag.
Oh, it's
He's
time.
a scumbag.
It's time to show up to camp. My hip gets surgery. When just 2 years ago he says that he doesn't like baseball anymore. He just does it for the money.
Can you imagine these guys signing big money extensions and everything and then not taking care of medical stuff when they should?
Yeah.
During their off seasons and instead
sounds familiar.
Instead of screwing over their teammates. It's not like anything we see here. Oh, wait a minute. We are seeing it play out right in front of us.
At least he's a gold medalist. Anthony Rendon.
Yeah, that's great.
I can't imagine that, but I can imagine a parade down Broad Street.
Yes, tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
We'll
Can't wait.
Can't wait. Looking forward to it. Hey, support life-saving cancer research. Join us and our friends FT Young Heating and Air Conditioning. Make a donation to the American Association for Cancer Research. You can do it today at 975thefanatic.com/AACR. I'm living proof that cancer research saves lives.
Damn right you are, man. And we will be hanging out tomorrow on Broad Street, baby. Right before the parade,
So
starting
excited.
at 6 o'clock. Mike Missanelli Show comes your way next. We'll talk to you tomorrow.